All right, what's up, guys? We're back with another podcast episode. This week, we're going to be reacting to some of your hot takes that you gave me on Instagram. There's really not going to be that much, if any, paddle talk this week. With paddle award season coming up, most of the reviews are kind of cooling down, so not too much. And then we do have a guest today. Aizec is not here. We have my mixed partner, Mia, because Aizec is currently knocked out from getting his wisdom teeth removed.
Yeah, he's hurting. He is hurting.
He's not feeling good, and we might as well just go into this now while we're here. So Aizec, I drive Aizec there this morning. I drop him off, and they're like, "Hey, we'll call you when it's finished." And I asked Aizec, I was like, "How long do you think this is going to take?" And he's like, "Probably an hour and a half." I was like, "Okay, I'm going to go to Lifetime. I'll get some work done." And so once I start working, I was like, "You know what? I should just put my phone in Do Not Disturb." I was like, I don't want anyone texting me while I'm working. I was like, that's how we'll do it. And then about, 50 minutes into this, no, probably more than that. It was probably like an hour and 15. I just opened my text messages and I was like, let's just see if there's anything. Nothing. Then I was like, wait a minute. I'm probably waiting on a phone call. Shoot. I should see it. I was like, please tell me they didn't call me. So I turned Do Not Disturb off. Let me check. I haven't even checked how many missed phone calls it was. First of all, Aizec can get through my Do Not Disturb. Like family and other people can, but like other regular phone numbers can't. It was 3, 8. There was like 9 missed phone calls.
Oh my!
And it was over a 30-minute period.
That's crazy. At 30 minutes. Wait, you told me it was 20 minutes when you texted me.
It was like 20, 30 minutes. It was somewhere in that range.
That's crazy.
It was real bad. And as soon as I called him back, I was like, oh man, they're gonna be like, this is the guy you picked to pick you up from this. So it was, and when I showed up, they had him in a wheelchair. He could barely walk. I'm bringing him home. And first of all, he looks at the clock in the car and he's like, 10 o'clock. How is it 10 o'clock already? And I'm sitting there going like, dude, that's only been an hour and a half. That's not even that long. Then go ahead.
Oh, bro teleported. I mean, he was in and out. And then, I don't even know if he knew where he was when he woke up. You said he texted you or called you like 5 minutes before I got here or something.
I think he does. He's like, it's wearing off now. I think he knows what happened. But on the way home, he'll just say random stuff. Like I'm trying to remember some of the stuff he said, but I'd be like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And then he's like, talking to me, and then the next thing I know, he literally just looks like this.
Oh my!
And I'm like, oh, he's passed out. I'm like, that was fast. And then about 30 seconds later, he wakes up and he goes, and I'm looking at him like, is he gonna say something? Because I could tell he was like, where am I? And then not even 5 seconds later,
oh my!
It's like, what did they give him? I was like, it's so bad. But the worst part, before we get into like the real stuff of this pod, I drop him off at home because in my head, I'm like, you don't want to be stuck in my house. Like if it was me, I'd want to be in my own bed. And then I realized everything the nurse was telling me was probably, she was assuming we lived together. And I was like, well, we don't live together. And then I realized it's because I was probably supposed to watch him. So as soon as I dropped him off and he could barely walk to his door, I was like, oh, frick, I should probably take him to my house. So I called him like 5 times. Nothing. He's passed out. And I'm like, oh no, please tell me he doesn't like kill himself. Like he tries to make some food and burns the house down. He's good. But I definitely was like, I'm going to win the worst brother award.
Basically everything that could have gone wrong, I feel like kind of low-key went wrong with that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you left a great impression.
I'm sure that doctor's like, you need a new brother.
Oh my goodness.
So real quick, you just want to adjust your mic. Just like, I'll do this. Sure. And then just like slide it over to you a little closer. Sure. Just like pull it. Not even going to bother cutting it out. Okay. Okay. Let's get on to some other stuff here. So most of you have probably heard of Mia. You've been mentioned on the pod plenty of times. And since we were doing like a hot take thing and Aizec's probably not going to be good for like 2 more days here, I was like, we need to just do the pod. So I was like, we'll just bring you on. I think it'll be fun. And before we do that, I have some, this will be funny to get your impression of, but last week I had just gotten a haircut. So I was like, whatever, I won't wear my hat, which I think is the first time ever on this channel I have not worn a hat. I think every single video I've worn a hat. And the comments were very funny. Let's go through some of these.
Oh, let's do it.
Okay, the first one. I was like, oh, this is great. They said, hey, Chris, you took your cap off and you have a full head of hair. Yay, we like this look. Next comment.
That's tame. That's pretty good.
Oh my gosh. Put a hat on, dude.
Yikes. Oh my gosh.
Next one. Just here to be part of the no hat Chris comments screenshot. Okay, that one's neutral. No hat? Who is that guy? WTF, no hat, question mark, exclamation mark. And then this one, I told my wife this one because this one just cracked me up. I was like, this is probably the last comment on earth I would have ever expected to see on my channel. Wow. Melonless Chris really brings out the eyes. Dreamy. LOL. I was like, what the heck? I was like, not the comment I expected to read.
That's good. Sarah might have some competition there. That's hilarious.
Definitely not. Whoever wrote that, I am married, just so you know.
That's so funny.
All right. The no hat was a fun experiment. Please go back to our normalcy. I cannot handle this change. And then, Chris, your wife called. She said to tell you to wear a hat, all caps.
Ooh.
Which
That's
is funny.
a good one. That's funny, though.
Because the hat thing started because of her. Like, years ago, like, was it when we were dating? Might have been dating in early marriage. She was like, hey, you should try wearing a hat. And I was like, no, that's crazy. I'm not wearing a hat. Then I wore a hat, and then I got, like, hooked on it. And then once I started playing pickleball, I was like, okay, we're just going to only wear a hat. Now she's flipped, and she's like, okay, how about some of the time you don't wear a hat? And I've just never done that. And now I'm like, okay, well, I'll try not wearing a hat.
I mean, I will say I'm pretty sure 97% of the time, like I see you or Wesley sees you, you're wearing a hat. So
it would be 100% of the time if we weren't doing these tournaments together.
Oh, 100. That's so true. I mean, I don't think I had seen you without a hat on until you showed me a literal picture of you without a hat on. So it's like you literally wear a hat all the time.
Yeah. And the hat, I think whatever the first tournament was, probably, I like finished taking a shower. I'm not going to wear a hat, right? Especially the hat I just competed in all day. There's no reason to put that back on. But like my hat was like, or hair was like here, which is very abnormal. Like this is like what I would consider my normal hair. So it's just like bowl cut. So if anyone watching this pod thought this is bad, you don't want to see the other haircut. And then anyways, the last one that I just thought was funny was the melon check must have bounced.
Oh my goodness.
So I thought those were all pretty elite.
People are creative. People are out here.
Yeah, it was something. Like seeing these roll in, I told Sarah, I was like, I know the comments are going to be all about this. And I was like, that's why I'm not going to say anything. I won't even egg it on. Let's just see what people say on their own.
That's hilarious. How did Sarah react to these comments?
I think there was a couple, and I couldn't find them. I don't know if they deleted them or what, but there was a couple that were a little bit more over the top. And Sarah was like, what the heck is this? I think one person said something like, Chris, put a hat back on. You look like a 12-year-old.
Oh
and Sarah was like, don't tell me my husband looks like a 12-year-old.
Oh, man.
So she took him well, but I think she was like, man, why are people so mean? I was like, I don't know, man. It's been 4 years.
Question. It's a valid question. Hey, you know what?
If I watched one of my favorite creators online all the time and suddenly they didn't have a hat, I'd probably be pretty confused too. Okay, last piece of news before we get into these hot takes. I'm curious if you saw this. APP is now using DUPR.
I did see that.
Yeah. No more UTR, which I wondered when that was going to go away because everyone thought that system was garbage.
I mean, I think the writing was on the wall for a very long time. Frankly, I've not played any APPs, so I don't really know that system at all.
Have you never played one? Like ever?
No.
Oh, only PPA.
Only PPA.
Okay.
Yeah. So I only know DUPR. So easier for me, I guess. Yeah.
The number system didn't make any sense. It was like a completely different scale than DUPR. It went higher. Their website was terrible. I've literally never once heard one person go, yeah, I'm like a UTR 7. Like I wouldn't even know what that means.
Right? Yeah. I actually haven't really looked into it that much. But are you familiar with like the UTR scale for tennis?
I am like loosely familiar with it. Like I know kind of how high it goes. Like the highest, I'm sure it goes higher, but the highest number I'm like familiar with is like 15.
Yeah, that's very high. That's very high.
I mean, that's like pretty elite, isn't it?
Oh, very, very elite, I think. Yeah. I think college players are usually somewhere in the range between like 10 to 13. And then anything above 13, you're probably playing a lot of professional events.
Sure.
But it's very interesting. I don't really know what how it parallels between the systems. All that to say, I think personally it's a great move. Yeah. It's good because I don't really know how much knowledge most people have about tennis in general. So I think, creating some consistency is good.
Plus, I just think having, as much as people complain about DUPR, just having two systems does not make sense. Especially when like APP, like smaller pool of like people, like no one at clubs is using UTR. So it's like clubs, tournaments, everywhere else is using DUPR, and then this small like section of people is using UTR. It's like, okay, well, what does this mean? Like no one knows. Everyone knows what a 4-0 DUPR is supposed to mean, 5-0, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
So I think it's great that they did that, and I think it was really only a matter of time before it happened. So, all right, let's do these hot takes. Okay, you brought a hot take. First of all, I put out a thing on Instagram, and I said, give me your hot takes. I was expecting some crazy takes, like just things that were unhinged. And there's maybe one of the first ones is pretty unhinged, I'm not going to lie. But it was stuff like, people focus too much on gear rather than actual fundamentals. I'm like, that's not even a hot take. That's just a correct take.
That's just real, yeah.
Another one, watching pro matches from 2016 is like watching 4-5 today. Also just accurate. This one is more of a paddle thing, but Proton without nanotach makes average paddles. Agree, and they're overpriced. If your club's 4-0 open play isn't DUPR verified, it isn't 4-0 open play. And then my favorite last one, which I was like, dude, this isn't a hot take, it's accurate. Elongated paddles are overrated. And if Aizec was here right now, he'd be slamming the desk.
What's funny about that is I may or may not be using an elongated paddle. Maybe for this next tournament, we'll see.
We'll see, but they're just overrated.
I mean,
you had the proper shape before. Hybrid. It was good. It was good.
I will admit, I do think hybrid shapes are very good paddles. In fact, if anything, I don't like wide body paddles.
See, and that's where you're
That's
wrong.
not a hot take.
That's where you're wrong. Okay, wait, but one of the first times I played with you, you had a wide body. I'm trying to think which one it was.
Was it? I was playing with a wide body?
Not like consistently, but you were going between like a paddle tech, one other paddle that I think maybe it was a C45, and then you played with a hybrid one, or a wide body once. I can't remember which one it was. Unless I'm just completely misremembering that, but I swear you did.
You're probably just misremembering it, because
Tell me which wide bodies you played with.
I don't even know if I played with a wide body, honestly.
So you don't even know. You don't even know
what
you're missing out on.
Question for you. Because this is when I was like, I haven't really looked back at it, but what is the 6-0 quartz? What shape is that? I have no idea.
Oh, the quartz?
Yeah.
That's a wide body.
I played with that for a little bit, so I guess I did, but I dropped that paddle so fast.
Okay, but that's not because it was a wide body. That's just because the quartz was kind of subpar.
Okay, I mean, that's
Was that your first paddle?
No, I think my first paddle was the double black diamond.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. That was a great paddle.
It was a good paddle. It felt really soft though. I mean, it was the one that was like edgelit or edge that didn't have an edge guard.
Oh, the Infinity. Yeah, that was really soft.
Yeah, that paddle was.
So wait, you went from the Infinity to a quartz?
Probably.
But you went from the more expensive one to the cheaper one. Not that.
Listen. The Infinity was very beat up, so I needed to like jump to a different paddle. And at the time, we were thinking, okay, hey, budget paddles. Let's just grab something and see how it goes. And so we did, and it went okay, honestly. At the time in my pickleball like career, it was fine. It really worked.
Okay. Well, all I'm saying is maybe we just need to put another wide body. Like right now you have the elongated loco. Maybe the wide body loco, you'd just be more insane. I'm just saying, you might be. You don't know.
We don't have the data yet, so I mean.
Okay, next time we play, you're playing with a wide body. I'll pick a wide body for you. Okay, I don't even remember how we got on that. How did we get on that? What were we?
Elongated paddles.
Elongated paddles.
Overrated.
Yeah, they're overrated.
That's what you said.
For sure.
Don't quote me though. I was just repeating what you said. Okay.
Okay. Let's hear your hot take. Let's hear what yours was.
My hot take. All right.
I want to hear yours first before we go into mine.
Okay. So I'm not sure if I have this completely nailed down, but so I would say people are generally in agreement that the rise in competitiveness, the implementation of better technology, and the influx of people ranging from all ages has been amazing for the game. But because of this, I think pickleball communities have a problem of they don't know whether they want to be social or competitive. And I actually think that that's creating like this underlying poison or toxicity in like communities as a whole, especially I think in the US.
To me, I actually don't even know if I'd call that a hot take. I think that's just an accurate take. but like,
listen, yeah,
because I think back to when I first started playing pickleball. There's a park not far from here, and when I was new, I would go there essentially every single day, sometimes even twice a day, and every single day I would see the same 30, 40 people. People are like bringing waters for people, like a cooler. There was one dude that kind of ran the court and like made sure the system worked well. Everyone was good friends. Sometimes people even bring food. Like it was almost like a party every day is kind of what it was like. And I'm sure that still exists in certain areas now. I'm just not at the public courts as much. But I mean, back in the day, I feel like people were a lot more open to like mixing groups. And now it's like, yeah, I'm just going to show up in my private group because I just want to play 2 hours of straight pickleball. Like, and then I'm guilty of this too. Like, if I'm going to play some games with friends and I want them to be like better games, I'm not going to go to a public park because why would I wait 30 minutes between games to play? But I definitely think as it's gotten more competitive, like you just find that people are not there so much for the social, they're there to play.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Competitive.
Yeah, but I find it fascinating because I feel like with the different types of demographics of people coming in, like especially like younger ages and maybe even people who are coming from college sports that were hyper competitive in their own way. I mean, it's bringing such a different culture to the game, apart from just like your park culture or like club culture. It just feels different. Like even local tournaments have a different vibe to them. And
then like when you started?
Yeah, and then when I started, that was just a year and a half ago is when I started. So yeah, I don't know. And maybe that's just like a function of me getting deeper into pickleball and like kind of feeling a little bit of burnout in some ways, maybe on like the tournament scene and stuff of that nature. But I don't know. Like, I just feel like there's some low level like toxicity kind of creeping in. And
like, what do you think the toxic part is?
I think the competitiveness is bringing out kind of like a side of people that maybe not a side of people. Maybe these are people who have always necessarily have been like that.
But now they just have an outlet.
But now they have an outlet. Exactly. Yeah. And so it's just bringing in like a wide variety of people, or just the popularity of the game. It's just fascinating. It's fascinating.
Here's what I'd be curious to pick your brain on this then, because what I think is really tough about this, because I had similar thoughts in speed cubing when like Red Bull kind of started getting into it a little bit, and I don't know exactly where it is these days, but anytime more money comes in or the thing gets bigger, things are always bound to like get worse in some way. Like whether people take it more seriously because there's money on the line or whatever it is, like, you know, now there's proper rating systems and people care about that. So I think it's bad in the sense that there are things that are less social about the game, and that is what was really appealing to a lot of people. But also, with the things that have come in, like having a more proper tour, there are a lot, like the game's being introduced to more people, there's more money, which means the pro tour can thrive. It means people can make a living in pickleball, like me. Like there's all these different things that I'm like, okay, these are good things, and it's like the natural trade-off. And I feel like if we could go back, I'm curious if people would actually want to go back to what it was, because we also lose some of the things that are making pickleball better now. So It's like a weird give and take. Like, I don't know which I'd rather have.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. And maybe like me saying there's like toxicity coming in is like not as important, but I certainly think that pickleball culture in general is entering this, like, it's a new era entirely. And like I said, I joined the game a year and a half ago, and from then it has changed dramatically on the culture side.
Man, if you saw it 4 years ago, because even I'm sure it has changed quite a bit in a year and a half, obviously, but man, dude, 4 years ago, it was way different.
Yeah, I just wonder how many people who are like, you know, I guess old heads now who look at pickleball with some sort of like rose-tinted glasses and think the way that it's heading isn't good or isn't comfortable for them. I'm very curious to see if people have thoughts on that.
You know what era is going to be really bad? When it gets to, and I think we're not that far from it, is all the juniors that are in right now. Once the juniors' parents, I already hear stories, but I don't think we're at like peak level like tennis, where the parents are just like almost crazy. But I'm telling you, as the years go on, we're going to start seeing like parents fighting on the sidelines about, you know, hooks or just like belittling the opponents. And I'm like, dude, like I remember going to some of Aizec's baseball games as a kid and hearing some of the things that parents would say about like the opposing team. I'm like, dude, these are kids. Like, what are you saying? Like, I actually couldn't believe it. I was like mind blown that parents would say this.
It's insane. I know. Yeah. The junior tennis culture is not any better. So like, yeah, bringing that over. And like you said, like we have already seen it happen at some of these PPA events. It's going to continue the culture is growing, not just in the US, but internationally. Like I find that part to be also fascinating. Like I feel like there are pressures on the competitive side from that sense as well. And there are hot takes as to whether or not, is the eastern side of the world, are they going to overtake the western side of the world?
Yeah.
That's interesting too. Like I wonder where the culture will ultimately like come together and clash. Like
there was a
fun.
take, I think I forgot to write it down, but it was by the end of 2026, Vietnamese players will all be the top player. Like there won't be a single like number one US player, or like the top 10 will be dominant. And I was like, it seems way too quick for that to be true.
That's a hot take for sure.
I'm going to say that's a hot take. Look, I'm sure they're all going to be awesome. And I'm even just seeing stuff that's happening in Asia right now. They're clearly all getting very good. Mm-hmm. But 1 year from now, I don't buy it.
Yeah, honestly, I don't buy it either.
I think that's definitely a hot take. But okay, well, you got anything else you want to go on with yours?
Honestly, not really.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just something that I feel like I've noticed and isn't necessarily addressed so directly. So
okay, Aizec and I have talked about this before. I'd be curious to get your take on this related to that. So people will often say, like, they wish pickleball could be how it used to be, or even when I think of like when I got into it, I'm like, man, those were some really fun days. But if you told me you could snap your fingers and go back and pickleball would be exactly like that, you're the same skill level, like all of us, or not all of us, but a lot of people are actively choosing to play in these private groups because they want to train or whatever. Like I could choose to go to a public park, but I choose not to. So even though I say like, oh yeah, I want to go back to that, I'm also contributing to the problem. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. I don't know. I don't know exactly how I would answer that. I guess I'd put it this way. I loved going to the park and like playing random people, and like that aspect of like pickleball was everything, especially coming from tennis where I didn't play college. Like I played USTA leagues and that was super fun because of the social aspect. But I burnt out in tennis. I had like a wrist injury. I just wanted some social play. I loved it. Now where I'm at with pickleball and like trying to having to arrange groups to play, it can be very tiring. Like that aspect of it can be very tiring. So in some ways, I kind of wish I could go back. I kind of wish because it's very different going to the park now. You can't. It's hard to. Okay, I feel like I'm kind of maybe gassing myself up here a little bit, but sometimes it's really hard to play down that far, and it makes it not as fun for everybody.
Particularly, right? I don't know all states, but people probably need some context. Like in Minnesota, I can only think of one public park where you can find a pretty good range of skill level, probably up to like 4 or 5, like maybe occasionally a 5-0 will show up. But most parks I find here, you're almost lucky if you see some 4-0s. It's like 3-5 and below, which just want to be clear, there's nothing wrong with that skill range. I'm not saying those people are bad but if you have a 4-5 and a 3-0, that mix is not fun for anyone. If the 4-5 tries it all, the 3-0 is not going to have fun. And if you play it equal enough to where the 3-0 can have fun, the 4-5 may not be having fun.
For sure. Or it's just like that clear, like, lack of trying, if you will, can really rub people the wrong way. Yeah. And I totally get that.
Yeah. And sometimes trying too hard also rubs people the wrong way. So you can't really win.
Right. Exactly. Yes. And I've actually found this to be true even like I travel to California a lot. We have family out there, Wesley and I. And even the parks out there, same story. A lot of the higher level players, they just go, they have their groups. And so you try to go to the park. You just want to play pickleball casually. First off, you wait an hour just to get in the game.
Yep.
And then you get in a group with people who might be new to the game or obviously learning lower level. It's just tough. It's tough to have fun. So,
and even forgetting all of that, the one thing that I consistently have forgotten about, even open plays at a facility, I hear stories all the time because Sarah works at a facility, so I hear some crazy stuff. But even the couple times, like I've been at a park and I just like observe people. The thing that I don't miss at all is sometimes the social dynamic with people is just unhinged at the park. I mean, people getting mad about how people are playing, people not getting off the court. Like you just start watching people like yell and like get annoyed at each other, or someone hits like a cheap serve or someone deems it a cheap serve and then they start arguing and you're like, bro, I just want to play pickleball. Like, I'm not here. That's the one thing I don't miss.
Yeah.
About the park is like all the drama that can come from a park.
Sure. Which, I will say, I don't necessarily know if I've found that drama as much, I guess, with my park runs. Maybe you've just been super unlucky or something.
I mean, it's not like all the time, but you definitely see enough where you're like, oh, wow. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But I mean, all that to say, like, a year ago, we would be in California and we would go to the parks and it was a super fun time.
Yeah.
And now I almost can't do it. Like every time we've gone there, I've kind of just avoided it because of that discrepancy, I guess. Or it may be just the uncomfortableness and I don't know, like the social aspects can be a little bit hard to navigate sometimes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like, I would love to see, what I think the best blend would be, and I really wish some of the parks here, you almost need like a person to make it happen. But like, we have a set of courts that's like pretty large outdoor. I can't remember how many it is, like 15 to 19 or something. But it would be awesome if you had organized courts as like, hey, here's a challenge court. This set of courts is like this level play. Now that comes with its own social dynamics. Everyone thinks they're better than they are. So that can be a problem. Maybe you just have a couple challenge courts. Because what I love about the idea of a challenge court is, okay, you want to put your paddle in line and wait however long, because usually those lines get pretty long. If you step on this court, it's a game to be serious. So you don't have to deal with do I try? Do I not try? And then the people who want to test their skills against higher level people get to. And the higher level people, like, it feels good to hang on to the court if you're winning.
For sure.
I feel like challenge courts solve a lot of different problems in parks, and I wish that was happening more here. Mm-hmm. Because then, okay, high level people want to show up and go play and maybe mix into that. Maybe they could still stay in their own groups. I don't know. It just gives everyone a chance to like be exposed to the whole thing.
Yeah. Do you know about the park up in Maple Grove?
That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah.
By Pines.
Yep. Yeah. I think that's the only park that does it in our area.
Oh, does it do a challenge court?
I think they do, yeah.
Well, man, if it wasn't 40 minutes away from me, I'd go there.
That's what I'm saying, right? It's like that's a trip and a half, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where it keeps going. I think half the reason everyone falls in love with pickleball is it's just super fun.
100%.
The social, like, you make a lot of new friends really quickly. Mm-hmm. So I don't really know what the solution is, but we'll see where it keeps going.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All right, man. We got a lot of takes to go through, so this will be fun. I don't think some of these will be that complex, but we'll go through one of mine. People all the time think if they can't play like way better people than them, they just can't get better at pickleball. I think that is the worst excuse I've ever heard. I think at a neutral skill level, if you're the same skill level as people, you can get better. I think even a quarter point below you, where you probably consistently win, I still think you can keep getting a lot better if you know what to work on and how to work on it. Once I think you start getting half a point to a full point or 3/4 of a point, I think that starts probably getting a little trickier. But at that point, we're talking about you're playing down. You're not even like neutral to a quarter point down. I think is totally fine.
For sure.
You can easily find ways to improve. I don't know. Everyone's like, oh, if I can't like play with the 4-5s or the 5-0s, like I can't get better. I'm stuck in this 4-0 group. And I just think that's such a lame excuse.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for me, I don't think that's a hot take because I think that is so true. Like there are so many aspects of this game that you can improve that are completely focused on yourself. Obviously, the strategy of the game, like the only way you can really know that was an option is if someone shows you that whatever it is an option to be played, right? So I get that in that sense. Like, listen, if you're missing half your drops anyways, maybe you should be working on your drops or drives, whatever it is, right? So I totally agree with you. I don't think that shouldn't be controversial. I don't know.
It shouldn't be controversial,
real.
But all the time people are like, oh God, like I just can't play in these groups. And I'm like, dude, I just don't think you need to.
Yeah. I'd also put it out like this. Like as you're improving, and like you show up to places and especially if you just get around, obviously networking is powerful. And if you show up and you consistently improve your own game, people will recognize that. If you have a drive to get better, people will recognize that. You can get invited to groups that are higher level and all those people just want to get better at the game. And if they see that you have the drive to get better, it's infectious. They'll invite you. Like, so you have to have the right mentality, I think. And I think mindset is really everything when it comes to improving. So yeah, if you got to get rid of the excuses and just tackle things head on. Be real honest with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think especially if it's like you're around the same level. I'm like, dude, yeah, like, okay, learn a couple new shots until you can just completely beat this person up. And like you said, at least I feel like this happens a lot in Minnesota. When people are coming up, like the word usually travels, right? Like as it's like, oh, hey, this person's like kind of around here. And especially once people are creeping past 4 or 5, I feel like there's just a handful of people that somehow always know everyone that's getting way better. Like I remember when your name kind of started like circling around and it was just like, it just happens. I don't know. So I feel like if people are actually getting better and to the level they think they are, usually it gets noticed.
100%. Yeah. No, 100%.
Okay. Well, the next one I have also, I wouldn't call this a hot take, but with how often it happens, I'm going to call it a hot take. But actually, I think I guess I had like 3, kind of how I wrote this out. You got to stop icing out the stronger player. If you get the chance to, for example, all the time, people like, I'll show up. Actually, this is really funny. I got to be careful how I say this. I've been to a couple places where on the court, people is very clear they're icing out the better player. And it's like, these same people want to be in those groups. And then when they get in those groups, their only objective is to win the game. So they can say, oh yeah, like, bro, I beat the 5-0 at my local court. And it's like, dude, okay, if you hit to their weaker partner the entire time, I don't think you actually beat them. So people got to stop doing that.
You know, I agree with you. Like, it's actually, it's really funny that even happens at all. But I also kind of understand it from their perspective, right? Like they're trying to figure out how to win. Mm-hmm. And if it makes sense to hit to the weaker player, like you should be hitting to the weaker player in that situation. You don't necessarily have to always force, hitting to the better player per se. But like, yeah, I think there's like a hyperbolic end to that where like, yeah, there are some people who, yeah, I don't know. I totally agree with you. I don't think it's a hot take, frankly. Like I think it's just silly that people do that.
Completely agree. Like for example, when we played you and me against Aizec and Tyra, I was like, I'm sorry, Aizec, but unless I have to hit the ball to you, the ball's going to Tyra. Why would I play with you every day. I want to know what Tyra can do, not what you can do. And, same goes for anywhere else I've played. It's like, I don't know. It's just such a waste of time. Like you get to experience what things you aren't familiar with in pickleball. Like we've had this a couple times just playing teams and tournaments. I was like, oh, didn't know that was an option. Like that was a cool shot.
For sure.
So.
What's really funny though about you saying that about Aizec and Tyra is that I think I had only played Aizec 2 other times max before those games. And in my mind, I was thinking I can hit to either of them because I think Aizec's definitely a better player than me. So it's like, I don't know. I was improving no matter where the ball was going, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's funny because you stopped. I think it was after the first game. You're just like, hey, like you should hit more balls to Tyra. Because I
say that? I don't even remember saying that.
You didn't say it like, aggressively or anything, but you were just kind of in passing. You're just like, oh yeah, like I play with Aizec all the time. Like we should just try to like hit more to Tyra or something. I'm like, you know what? You're right. I should hit more to Tyra because like, when am I ever going to hit with her again? Like this is crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just think people need to like capitalize on that because this kind of leads into the next thing I was going to talk about, which is people care way too much about winning. They may not say it, but subconsciously I think people care more about winning than they do actually improving. Because I swear people will show up at the rec courts and their only objective is just to win as many games, whether that's to hit cheap shots, like someone with low mobility, they hit a drop shot, or they pick on the weaker person. I'm like, cool, you can do that if you just want to win games, but if you actually want to play the better people, this stuff isn't going to work.
Yeah.
You can't get away with that as easy.
Yeah. That is interesting. It's like, I don't know. Obviously, it's nuanced. Like hitting, if you're practicing your drop shots and you hit the drop shot, I guess, okay, we get it. But yeah, I mean, you want to give the better player an opportunity to show you the things that they can do, so you can obviously like add that to your bag, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Just across the board, it just makes sense. Hit to the better player, guys.
I hope there's one of these takes that we disagree on. I hope we don't just agree on every single one of these. Listen,
I was trying to come up with a hot take, and I'm like, that's not a hot take. That just makes sense. Like everything that I was going through in my head.
But you know what's funny is I even thought about this too. I was like, okay, I'm looking at a lot of these thinking that's not a hot take. But then I was thinking, this is the logical answer, but how many people are out there and would say they disagree with this?
Yeah.
Like the last one I had in here, I was supposed to have one hot take. Somehow I walked away with 3 or 4. That doesn't make any sense. The last one was, you should never, ever, ever, unless asked, coach and rec play. If you're at a park, don't even consider opening your mouth about a piece of advice unless they asked for it.
100%.
Especially even more so, men to women. The amount of times I've just watched on the court and I'm sitting there like watching this guy. Actually, I watched one time this guy came over, probably 3'5" at absolute most, comes up to a 5'0" woman and says, hey, like, we're playing a game. He's playing his own game. He's like, you should really try hitting with more overspin. Exact quote.
Overspin.
I was like, first of all, you didn't even say it right. Second of all, this woman will kick your butt. She could probably play left-handed and beat you. Like,
oh my goodness.
Just unsolicited coaching is insane to me. There's just no reason for it.
Yeah. What's funny about that is one day I went to the park and I was playing left-handed, and I mean, you know how bad I am at playing left-handed. I missed a lot of serves, and my drives were kind of whatever. And afterwards, like, a guy came up to me and was just like, hey, like, you have a lot of potential. Like, you could be doing this better. And I'm like, I just, I get it. Playing left-handed, it's not very pretty. But like, I was like, for sure. Like, I appreciate you. Thanks for letting me know. But it's just so funny in the moment because I'm thinking to myself, like, should I even switch back to my right hand now? Do I just have to leave this park? Because like, I don't know. Like,
no, what you do is you switch to righty and hopefully they just don't notice. Like, wow, they got way better way quick.
But the crazy part is I did switch back to righty, and like, it kind of felt like everyone just was like, I don't know. I just felt written off, which is like, it was the silliest thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think, I don't know how much you've experienced it, but I've just seen it enough at parks. I actually even remember when the spin serve was a thing. I guess this kind of falls under unsolicited advice, but when the spin serve was a thing, I was doing it on a court with some friends. And one guy from across another court goes, hey, that's illegal, right? And I'm like, first of all, I'm playing in my own group. Why do you care? Like, play in your own group. Second of all, I'm like, I can pull up the rules and show you this is legal. And we went back and forth like maybe a little bit, and then I gave up because this guy wasn't going to believe me. But I was just like, dude, just keep it to yourself. Like, why does it matter?
That's
as long
crazy.
as it's not endangering anyone else at the park.
I mean, who knows? Your spin serve could have just been that deadly. I mean,
I guess. So yeah, I think unsolicited coaching is insane.
Yeah.
It would never even cross my mind to say that. Like, even with friends, I would be probably pretty cautious going in and be like, hey, I've got some advice if you want it. If you don't, I'll keep my mouth shut. And most people would, they're like, oh yeah, tell me. But
yeah,
randomly?
Yeah. 100%. Like, if you have the relationship, it's even, like you said, it's still good to ask.
Yeah.
Like, no one likes it.
Yeah.
No one likes it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't do that. All right. There's our hot takes. I guess we just have lukewarm takes. So maybe.
Are they? I don't know. Like, I'm telling you, I thought very long and very hard on that, and I couldn't come up with anything. Maybe pickleball is just not, or maybe we're just not the kind of people to come up with good hot takes.
This first one's a hot take. Let us know in the comments which take is the hottest take that you heard in this whole podcast. I'm curious to hear what people think is the hottest take, and I think it's going to be this first one. So these are all from Instagram. The elderly deserve to be lobbed. That to me is a crazy hot take.
Oh my goodness.
I think that was the hottest take I saw in this whole thing.
I was just reading about how like paddle or racket related injury or racket sport injuries have been on the rise. And then we all know it's because of pickleball.
Yeah.
Lobbing puts people in danger. Okay. It can really put people, I'll put it this way. So when I was playing a lot of tennis, I was working with this guy who coaches over at one of the Lifetime locations near here. And one of his biggest clients, like demographics, are people who are over the age of 50. And he says all the time that whenever the ball goes up and it's lobbed up, he's literally standing there with his hand over his mouth because he's like, am I going to have to call the ambulance again?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's dangerous. I'm just saying the mobility is tough, I
can't remember what, I played a tournament one time. I think it was this year. And I played someone that was older and I could tell a lob was a very effective shot. And I did it probably twice and I couldn't, even though it was a tournament, I couldn't bring myself to do it more because I was like, if this guy falls and cracks his head open, I will feel terrible.
For sure.
Like that would feel way worse than me winning this match. So after that, I just put it away. Even though in a tournament, all bets should be off, right? Like everything should be allowed. But I was like, dude, I can't do it.
And that's interesting. I think in tournaments, I actually do think it's valid. Like that person signed up to play. Like if I,
Totally.
yeah, if I joined a tournament and maybe my mobility wasn't as good, I'd hope that people would hit whatever shots they want to hit on me. But, I thought this was more like, I don't know, rec play or like open play.
No, that's what I think. I do think they mean that. Yeah.
And that's, I don't know.
I think that is...
It's a little unhinged, low key.
Just don't
in my
do it.
eyes. Yeah.
That you're just being a jerk. Especially if you know there's no chance they're getting that ball, I think you're just being a jerk.
Yeah. And, I'm making a lot of assumptions here. Like not every person whose age is up there is moving bad. Like there are a lot of people who move very well for whatever age that they're at.
Yep.
And that kind of goes across the board. But, if you see someone struggling to move, dude, and you guys are playing for fun.
Yeah. There's
nice.
just no way.
Be nice.
Like, chill. That is another one example of like, bro, you could find a million other ways to win. You don't need to take the cheapest shot you could take.
Yep.
Okay, so I think we both agree that's a bad take.
Oh, I agree.
Okay.
I definitely agree.
This one, I don't know if I'd call it a hot take, but I thought it was interesting. They said public courts should switch to rally scoring when the lines get too long, but you can do side out by default. I think this only works if you have someone to police it. And I think I'd just be okay with this. Honestly, I don't think I'd be that mad.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think enforcing anything is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Like there are local parks here where I've shown up. It's just like a bunch of kids back from break and they just want to play. And they're taking like 5 of the courts. Listen, we're not going to get those courts back.
Yeah.
I've had people scream like 5 times, like loudly to them. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So the take, good. I think the take is good. Enforcing it, hard.
Very hard.
Yeah.
Okay, here was a take. I thought this one was, after I went and looked this up, I thought this was a horrible take. Lifetime balls shouldn't cost that much to buy in bulk. You're paying for the brand name, not quality. Okay, I looked this up. 100 pack of Lifetime balls, because I knew the price of those. $229. Perfectly reasonable in my opinion. You can get a code. It comes down to it's like you're basically paying $2 a ball. That's not, for what the Lifetime ball is, super reasonable. Let's read the 100 pack of every other ball. Franklin, $259. Vulcan, $400, or currently they were on sale for $250, so I don't know if that's one of those fake sale things. But let's just say $400. Okay, $4 a ball. Dura, $329. Pro S1, $250. Diadem ball, $365. It's literally the cheapest ball 100 pack you can buy, and it's the best ball in pickleball, and it's not even close.
That's hilarious.
Horrible take.
That's a terrible take. I mean, honestly, though, I didn't know all those prices. So I'm kind of in the camp of, I was feeling a little swayed. But now that you listed all the prices, I'm like, that's terrible take. They clearly didn't do the research, and they were maybe bagging or hoping that other people also didn't do the research.
I'm pretty sure that when the Vulcan ball came out, I want to say 100 pack was $450. So you were paying $4.50 for probably the worst ball that has ever existed when it came out.
Oh, for sure.
It got better, but it was horrendous when it came out. So yeah, very bad take. Next one. You don't need to apologize for hitting the net and winning the point, body bagging someone, or drop shots.
They added a lot of stuff in there because if it was the net cores, if you just stop there, I kind of agree with that. I think we have a friend who's pretty good at badminton, fairly good actually, and he follows the professional scene enough to understand that hitting the net is actually like dripping the birdie just over the net is a very valid shot. And I was thinking, you know what? When I'm driving the ball, I'm kind of hoping it hits the top of the net a little bit. I mean, like I hit it low enough over the net that I'm hoping that kind of happens, right? So I'm kind of erring more to the side of not wanting to apologize when it hits the net core.
Funniest thing about this, and now look, everything I'm about to say, I say this as someone who always apologizes. So take that for whatever it means to you. But even in tournaments, when you've hit a net cord winner, or maybe I hit a net cord winner, you'll be the first one to apologize, and we'll turn around, and then I'll go, I'm not sorry. Yeah. Like every time, I'm like, because here's the thing: if I could do it every single time, I promise you, I would do it every single time.
For sure, 100%.
You're 9-9-2 in a tight game 3 in a tournament. If I hit a net cord winner, you can sure bet in my head I'm celebrating.
I mean, we're definitely celebrating, not just in your head either. I'm pretty sure we've gone back to the baseline. It's like, all right, we're doing that again.
Yeah, and I also think what's interesting, like pickleball, maybe more so than any other racket sport, you are just so likely to hit the net. In table tennis, you can apply so much spin and hit like huge arcs. Tennis, Same thing. Badminton, a lot of times the ball's going or the birdie is going way up. Like pickleball, the amount of net cords happens, I just think it's part of the game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you're not. People say, you want margin over the net, you want, space, but I mean, you're playing in such close proximity to the net majority of the time that
the margin's way tighter than any other racket sport.
Precisely. So it's just going to happen. It happens all the time.
So, okay, now we say that, and now I guarantee the next time we go and play, we're still going to put our hand up when we hit it.
Listen, it's etiquette, okay? You gotta at least you gotta follow etiquette.
But then is it just fake if none of it's etiquette? But we all know we don't mean. I think everyone on the court knows they don't mean it.
How much of etiquette is fake to some degree? I don't know. Now that's an interesting question. Ooh, is that another hot take?
What
is etiquette fake?
I'm sure. I mean, the net cord one, I think, is. I've literally had people in tournaments call me out. Like, I hit a couple net cords, and they're like, I don't know, I'll put my hand up, and they're like, you're not sorry.
That's funny.
And it always makes me laugh, because I'm like, well, you're not wrong. I'm not sorry. So.
Yeah. Okay, so what were the other two things? It was body bags and.
Body bags and drop shots.
And drop shots.
Drop shots is a crazy thing to apologize for.
Maybe it depends maybe on the people you're playing against, but like in a tournament. I mean, I don't know, like because we were talking about like the mobility thing.
But even if you drop shot someone in rec, you willingly chose to drop shot that. So then you're apologizing for something you meant to do.
See, I'm surprised they didn't say something like less controversial. Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe they were trying to be controversial. But like mishits, for example, I apologize all the time for mishitting.
True.
Especially if like I hit the ball, let's say I wanted to go left, and that ball just careens right, and I hit a winner. I'm apologizing for that.
It's funny you say that because at Worlds, one of our mixed matches, I did exactly that. I meant to hit the ball left, and I shanked it off the tip, and it went right and clipped the line. And I'm pretty sure I yelled. In my head, I'm like, I just shanked the crap out of that ball.
That's funny.
It was so bad.
Yeah, but body bags for sure. I'm saying sorry. I do feel bad.
See, that one's interesting because I do the same thing. But I also go like, there are, especially these days, like, for example, one of the funniest ones has to be like Hayden. If I ever see Hayden hit someone and he puts his hand up, I'm like, you don't mean it. You tried to hit, like, we all know the shot you're most famous for, dude. You tried to hit him. I don't know. I'm always probably going to apologize for that, but part of me goes like, do we really need to?
I think if my intention truly was to body bag somebody, then I wouldn't apologize because like that's what I was going for. But if that wasn't what I was going for and I do hit somebody, then yeah, I'd feel pretty bad.
Like take this for example. You are about to hit a speed up off the bounce and you know you're aiming center mass. Like you're not trying to kill the ball and like hurt someone, but like that's the spot you want. If you just hit him in the chest, that was the shot you were trying to hit. Maybe you weren't trying to hit them, but you were going right at their body.
Okay, I guess that's fair. But if I'm going center mass and I'm hoping the ball lands in, I don't know. That's an interesting question. But I think a really good example is you hit the ball, it hits the net, and then it jumps up and hits somebody in the chest. I feel kind of bad.
But we don't feel bad for hitting the net cord.
No,
apparently.
I'm not saying sorry about the net cord there.
But if the net cord led to the body bag, usually it doesn't like go fast. Usually, it just kind of like is slow. Like, what are we apologizing for? They didn't get hurt. Here's the funny thing about this is I say all this, but again, I'm still going to put my hand up. But
yeah, I mean, it's etiquette. It's etiquette. Okay.
Maybe we need to reconsider the etiquette. Just kidding. We should apologize.
We should be kind, guys. Be kind.
Okay, this is an interesting one because I go back and forth on this. A true beginner player taking the game seriously should start playing with a power paddle. Yay or nay?
Wow. There's a lot of assumptions maybe being made there. I don't think so. I don't think they need to or should start with a power paddle.
Why?
Because their identity is going to shift a lot as they play the game. And frankly, you're probably going to appreciate having even a little bit less power. So maybe some people who naturally have a bigger swing would gravitate towards a paddle that's a bit softer. People who have naturally like a more compact swing, or maybe just like aren't as comfortable pronating their wrist, maybe they do want a power paddle.
So couldn't you make the argument though that if you have a big swing, maybe you should just make it more compact because that's better for pickleball? No, I'm playing devil's advocate here because I have an interesting take. But
okay, like I said, your identity is going to change a lot as you progress in the game. So at some point, I hope you look into what what having a certain type of paddle, what the consequences are of that, and how it would translate to what you have to do on the court. But yeah, I mean, I think a beginner should just buy a paddle. You just got to get started somehow. So should or need to is maybe too strong in my opinion.
So if you were going to take someone and you wanted them to be like, their only goal was to be the best player in the world from the very beginning, would you choose to start them out on a power paddle or not? Because I feel like if you could objectively control the most powerful paddle on the market from the beginning, and like that's all you ever grew up on, I think that would be better long-term for that player.
Okay. This is how I would think about it. It depends on their background. If they're a tennis player or come from a racket sport that how to generate topspin, I think a power paddle is great. If you come from a racket sport that is not traditionally known for topspin, I think a control paddle or an all-court paddle is better because you have more opportunity to shape the ball. And so you have more forgiveness in learning how to actually apply topspin or spin at all. Some sports like badminton, for example, we have a friend who's good at badminton. He struggled to understand the mechanics of like applying topspin. And that's not to say he wasn't getting it quickly because he's just an athletic person. But having a power paddle, every single one of his balls was just flying out. As soon as we gave him a paddle that was a bit more forgiving, like he was able to iterate more, try things out, and he got a lot better, a lot faster. So it's like, I think it depends on the background of the person.
Sure. Yeah, and so I say all that because I was purposely playing devil's advocate, because I think I remember the first time I ever heard James Ignatowicz say this. He said something about, beginners should just start with power paddles because it trains you to have compact strokes. Like and if you can reset with a poppy paddle, then of course you can reset with anything else. Like the argument was, if you can do it on the hardest thing, everything else would be cake. So why go from soft and then have to learn a power paddle later? Which I think there's some validity to that, but I also think you probably could stunt someone's growth by doing that depending on their background, because if you always had so much pop that you could be kind of lazy with technique and get by with it, like you teach yourself a terrible habit. Like we're kind of assuming that this person would learn all the best habits, but like let's say on counters, you just always had the paddle could do everything for you and you had horrible form. I think if you had someone start with like a control paddle or an all-court paddle, it forces you to learn proper form to be able to put good pace on that ball.
For sure.
Otherwise, like how are you could just be lazy with the power paddle. So I think it's interesting. I think both ways could probably be valid, but in some ways, I don't know, go back and forth, because an all-court paddle or control paddle might teach you to take bigger swings than what you should because you don't have the put-away power. I don't know. It just all depends on the context of like how the person's going to learn. Like I personally think beginners should not start with power paddle. If they're just trying to have fun and like they just enjoy the game, don't think they should have a power paddle. If they're trying to improve as quick as possible, then I think the conversation just depends still. Because like you would probably need coaching to like make sure you clean up some of these bad habits.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would probably be more in the camp for most people saying don't start with a power paddle.
Yeah. And I mean, it's funny because if we look at where I started, which granted, I have like a relative background in racket sports, but you literally said that I was using a very soft paddle in the double black diamond infinity, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm using very powerful paddles. So like I said, your identity is going to change. Just grab a paddle, enjoy the game. Don't think about it too hard. In a year, check back in, maybe 6 months. I don't know how often you play. Yeah. Just get out there and enjoy the game.
I do think that is if you enjoy it, if you enjoy it, you will just naturally improve. Totally. All right. Let's see if we can go through some of these quicker.
Go.
Everyone thinks they're better than they really are. I wholeheartedly agree with this take.
That's funny because I feel like I suffer kind of from the opposite direction in some ways. Maybe it's just like...
You definitely suffer from the opposite, without a doubt.
But maybe I'm an exception and not the rule. So...
Do you find that this is your experience with other people, though? Maybe, yeah. I would say like a lot of people probably rate themselves a lot higher, which, I don't know. A lot of reasons why, but maybe on average I could see that. It's not something I necessarily pay attention to, though. I'll be honest. Fair enough. I definitely think, I'm probably even going to include myself in this. I'm sure many times, who knows, maybe even right now that has happened. But I see this so often where I'm like, dude, this person thinks just a little too highly of their skill level. So I'm gonna say I agree with that take.
At what point do you think it's valid to say, like, I am that good? Like, what do you need behind you, accolades wise, or not accolades wise, just skill wise? I mean, that's an interesting question.
I feel like that one's so hard because, like, for certain people, I feel like you can just see it. Like, I feel like with you, like everyone who sees you play. And we've seen this so many times. The amount of tournaments we've been to now, and people are like, oh my, like the amount of gassing up that happens, I'm just sitting there like, oh my, like, look, it's all deserved. I'm not saying it's not deserved, but I'm like, sheesh, we couldn't pump more air into this head if we wanted to.
That's so funny.
And then other times, like, so I think there are people like with natural athleticism that you can like see it. And then I think the other would be like results. Like, okay, look, if you've won 4 5-0 tournaments and they were PPAs, yeah, you could probably say you're better than 5-0. But I feel like a lot of times you'll see people saying like, yeah, I should be playing in the 5-0 groups. And you're like, dude, you can't even win a match in 4-5. Like, what do you do? No, like, what are you talking about?
For sure.
So I don't know. I'm probably going to clump myself in that camp because I'm sure I've definitely thought I'm better than I actually was.
Okay, you know what? Earlier on in my pickleball journey, I definitely thought I was better than what I was. And it wasn't until I got humbled multiple times that I was like,
sure.
You know what? I suck.
And now you've just stuck with that attitude, apparently. Okay, you don't say you suck. But
I mean, I got a lot better faster once I started saying, like, you know what? I'm bad at this. I'm bad at this. I'm bad at this. Like, just focus on it. Put your head down and, you know, enjoy the process. And I'm like, I guess I'm where I'm at now where people are going.
I do think the quicker you can recognize your flaws, like, I mean, it feels obvious, but most people aren't going to do this. Like, everyone thinks they're so good at whatever the thing is, but if you can realize you're not actually that good at that thing and actually work on it, stock going up. So I guess if you guys want comments as much as Mia gets compliments, then you should probably stop thinking you're really good. Just start telling yourself you suck at pickleball.
That might be a little bit.
Maybe that's a little extreme.
You said it.
I did say it. Okay. I thought this one was funny, and again, I just agree with this. People who target in rec play drink hot dog water.
What?
I'm just saying, if you're targeting in rec play, random people you don't know, I agree with this take.
They say that like hot dog water's bad.
Do you want to drink out of a hot dish that a dog has been drinking out of?
Hot dog? I thought it was like hot, like you boiled hot dogs.
No. Oh, wait. Drink hot dog. Okay, see, that's funny. I read this as drink hot, dog water. But, now I wonder which way they meant this. But I feel like saying drink hot dog water, like you put a hot dog in water, makes way less sense. You know how people will say like, oh, this guy's dog water?
Yes, I've heard that, but I guess that's not what came to mind. I do agree.
So which one's worse then in your mind?
Hot, dog water sounds terrible.
So the question is, what do you think of the take? Agree or disagree?
Wait, say the take one more time.
People who target in rec play drink hot dog water.
I mean, if you want to put it like that, I guess.
That's a pretty lukewarm agree or disagree.
I mean, I agree with the first part. People who target in rec play, depending on like, because if we're going back to, there's a stronger player on court, and you're just.
And let's just assume these are like people. Okay, we always have to make assumptions on these, but let's assume these people don't know each other. If you're with friends, I don't care what you do. If you're with random people, I care a little more about what you do.
For sure. If it's rec play, guys, we're just having fun. Include everybody. Why are you leaving people out? Come on.
Yep. Completely agree. All right, next one. I think this is a hot take. We need to go to a foam ball.
No.
I'm going to say no.
No.
I think sound-wise, that would be good for the sport because sound is definitely such a problem, but a foam ball would like change. I mean, I've played with a foam ball. It's not even remotely close to the same experience.
100%. No.
You would have to change so many things for that to work.
Right. Plus, there's just something really satisfying about hearing the ball colliding with a paddle. You take that away, I'm quitting the sport.
Also, I think if you do play with like a foam ball, like how mushy it is, like just does not feel, forget the sound, even just the feel off your paddle is so much less satisfying.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm going with hot take.
I hate to say it. There are plenty of people who don't take the sport that serious. I don't think that would help the image. Going to a foam ball.
Yeah, probably. There better be one take on here that we disagree. I don't think we've had one yet that we've had opposite opinions on. Mia, you need to be more disagreeable.
Listen, The hot takes just need to be hotter, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. Eliminate all age groups. Tournaments are skill level divisions only.
That's interesting. I think no. I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I don't agree with that. And the reason why is because like different demographics would want to have their safe space to compete, if you will. And that's not to say that like people of that age should be, not included, but if it's like an open tournament, and obviously anyone should join. I don't know. I think that like it so depends on the tournament directors, what the vibe of the tournament that they want. If it's a hyper competitive tournament, like, I don't know, do you need to have extra brackets? Like in some ways, I guess maybe they feel that's so interesting.
Here's why I think this is I don't really care one way or another. I don't care if there's age divisions. I don't care if we were all combined into one. Personally, I don't really have a strong preference there. But one of the things I have said for a long time is that if you are actually a 4-5 as a 50-year-old versus a 4-5 as a 20-year-old, there should be no difference between you. Like you sure, you might not be as fast, you might not be able to slide to the ball as the 20-year-old, but if you are actually a 4-5, then you should be able to play with that 20-year-old 4-5. Sure, they might have like some athletic abilities, but maybe you make up for it because you have smarter court IQ, right? Everyone has like things they're good at and things they're bad at, but they're still at whatever level. So to me, I'm like, if you have to have an age division and you can't compete with the younger, whatever that level is, I just don't think you're actually that level.
Sure.
So like, let's say that might just mean you're a 4-0. So that's kind of my take on it, is I think if you're actually at skill level, it shouldn't matter.
I actually think what it is for me is that once the sport kind of progresses and becomes a bit more like it levels out a bit in terms of like what you're expecting in each division or I guess like skill bracket, then maybe the age groups don't make as much sense. But right now it's kind of crazy. Like random ages are kind of joining in, and it just doesn't really feel like there's a lot of like consistency across the board on what you'd expect at a tournament. And maybe like that's what people who have those age brackets want. They just want a little bit more consistency in what they'd expect in a tournament, and they just want to compete still. So I also think I have other like takes on like what tournaments should be doing, because now that DUPR has shifted to this sort of like, even if you perform well, you can gain DUPR. Like with a dynamic rating like that, like tennis does it where they lock like ratings behind. You can only play up a division, or I guess play up 0.5, and you can only play down. You can't play down. Mm-hmm. So you can either play at or play up 0.5, and like I think that protects people's ratings more, so you don't have to worry about like a 3-5 player coming in and I guess tanking your DUPR if you're at like a 4-4. Mm-hmm. And I think DUPR has created some protections around this, in that if you're such a large gap, well, frankly, neither of you guys deserve any rating. But then as a player who's joining a tournament wanting to gain DUPR, if you're playing against players who don't have a high enough DUPR, or their DUPR's too high for you to gain anything, kind of feels like that match was almost for nothing apart from maybe learning. But like you said, like you can try to find places that are local that probably cost way cheaper to get games that you can learn from. So I think like I have a bigger issue with that. Like not gating the skill brackets behind a certain amount of rating above or below, just because it makes for less like it's less fulfilling.
I do think that PPA now, if I understand correctly, they do gate going down. I can't remember exactly what the cutoff is, but once you cut past the threshold, you can't go down anymore.
For sure.
So I think that's good, but it would be interesting to also gate how high up you could go. But then I wonder if that could cause problems. Like let's say you had like a collegiate tennis player come in and they're, I don't know, a 4-5, and like maybe they could play qualifiers like really quickly. It might suck having to grind like 4-5 tournaments or something.
Right. And I think that is a function of the sport just being so young. Yeah. Like tennis, there's very clear, like, this is where you're going to start. You're going to go from here to there. Whereas pickleball is just crazy. You don't know what's going on really. Yeah. Like not yet anyways. So I think once the sport matures, we might see stuff like that implemented, or maybe they come up with a completely different system. I'm not thinking about it that hard. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this one was an interesting one. I don't really have a super opinion on it, but I definitely just think, look, if you can't play with that skill group at that age, you're not that level.
For sure.
But no one, it always like bruises everyone's egos. Egos are just too big in pickleball. Everyone wants to say they're whatever number. I hear the stories I hear from Sarah at this facility. They're like, no. Like, I don't even want to use numbers in case someone like listens to this pod. But some of the stories I hear, dude, people are like, oh, I should be in this skill division, and they're like 1.5 DUPR off. And I'm like, bro, if you're 1.5 off, I'm sorry, you don't belong anywhere near that division. Like anywhere near.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, you think so?
No, I'm 1.5 DUPR down. Let me in.
Oh,
That's a hot take.
oh yeah. That's just crazy to me. Here's the one I completely disagree with this take. I'm curious what you think, because I've seen it at the tournaments now, and I have like the opposite take of this. 4-5 plus DUPR rated women think they're better than they are ego wise. Okay, actually they phrased the end of that weird. My understanding of the question was that they think 4-5 plus women think they're better than they actually are. This is very funny because having watched Worlds and the 5-0 division there, like every single person, the teams you guys played were like 4-6 to like 4-8. Maybe there was a couple 5-0s. I'm watching all of this like, dude, the women in this division could have played the men's 5-0 bracket and done fine. Like it was genuinely very good competitive games to watch. So my experience has been half the time the women are rated lower than what I feel they should be. I also don't feel like I really don't feel like I see women. It's always the guys that have the egos. I rarely see women with an ego.
For sure. Yeah. And you know what? Like, this is something that I've thought about because, like, women's brackets don't fill out as much, especially at the higher levels. And, like, so you're not really gaining a lot of DUPR per tournament. Whereas on the men's side, like, if you perform really well in a tournament, you play against like a 20-team bracket, and you're doing that, like, every other weekend, of course, like, your DUPR is going to fly.
Yeah.
Like, and that also means that depth of player base is going to be like more, I guess, like saturated, or you just have the opportunity to like set yourself into a 4-9, let's say, as a 4-9, and like it really means a lot more maybe.
Yeah.
But like on the women's side, it's just like you don't really have that much of an opportunity per se to like just like farm DUPR.
Especially in Minnesota. Could be different in some of the other states, like maybe California is better, but Minnesota is pretty rough.
Yeah.
I mean, the women's division that was supposed to happen at a Moneyball tournament this last weekend didn't even have enough people for them to do the women's side of the tournament.
Right. And what's also fascinating about that is that in like when like there are some women who I know that only play mixed, and some of them play mixed in a way that's like, I'm going to let my guy partner play more of the core, do this, and I'm going to really focus on getting really good at a certain skill set. And then when they have to play in a setting where like they have to do more than that, like they're going to struggle for sure. But if they're 4 or 5 at the skill set that they're doing, applying it in the mixed games that they're playing with the partners that they're playing with, right? And whereas like someone like myself, like my DUPR is like 4-7, but I play mostly women's. It's only recently that I've really played a lot of mixed. And so like I feel like I've developed a lot more of the skills that I wanted to develop per se to become like a more holistic player. And so like I'm not a great person to have, like I don't have a lot of ego.
Yeah.
So in that regard, like I can't relate to this.
I mean, I even as someone who like, I mean, I can maybe count on 3 fingers the amount of women that I've thought had like an ego that it doesn't even matter if they were a woman or a guy. Like if a guy had the same ego, I'd be like, it would be like off-putting or whatever. So it's not even just because they're a woman or whatever. But usually it's the guys with the bigger ego. So I thought this was an interesting one because I was like, I find that a lot of women are rated less than probably what they should be. Yeah. At least 4-5 plus.
Yeah. And I guess to finish my thought, it's really just that you're going to get a wide range of people. If you're over 4-5, it's going to be a wide range of skills because their experiences might be different on how they got to 4-5.
Yeah. We'll do this one because it leads into the mixed. We'll go with that. If you never get burned up your line in mixed, you aren't applying enough pressure. What do you think about this?
Oh, interesting. Is that
I guess this would be mostly towards the guy because they're saying I guess usually the assumption is that the guy is playing the left. So they're saying to the guy, they're not applying enough pressure.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it could be that way for sure. Like, that could be just across the board, frankly, for any
like gendered, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So I think it all depends on the patterns that are being played. I don't know.
A very lukewarm answer there. Yeah, a very lukewarm answer. I'm gonna say I agree. Honestly, on either side, like whether it's men's, women's, mixed, I think that's probably just true. Like getting burned is, I don't think, a problem. If you let it become a problem where it's happened like 4 or 5 times, maybe even 3 is where I'd say it's a problem. Like, yeah, maybe you should do a little bit more.
Yep.
You know, make something happen, or at least make them try to hit there. You know. Okay, well. That was interesting. That even as we went through that, I'll be curious to see what the comments say if they disagree with any of the takes. But the elderly one was the only take that I thought was super hot.
You know, I agree with that. Honestly, I agree with that.
The other ones, I don't know. Maybe pickleball just doesn't have hot takes.
Maybe, or maybe we're the bad. We're not a good.
Maybe we're too agreeable.
Maybe we're too agreeable. You know, that could be it.
Okay, so we thought it would be fun since Mia was on here. We've played a bunch of tournaments over this summer now, and we thought it would just be fun to kind of go over just our mixed dynamic or just talk about mixed doubles in general. I don't think I've really seen any podcasts where they've had like a mixed partnership kind of talk about some of this. So I think it would be interesting to talk about it from our perspective and just some of the things that are interesting and see if we find maybe one thing we can disagree on in here. Maybe.
We'll see.
Okay, so the first thing I had written down is, what do we think each other's strengths and weaknesses are?
Oh, man.
And I'm very curious to see what you say.
When you sent that, I was like, we got to say that? Okay.
Do you want to go first, or do you want
I can go first, for sure. Okay, you want me to... No,
roast away. No, I don't want you to hold anything back.
Okay, we're going to start with strengths. We're going to start with your strengths. Okay. So your counters are very strong.
Which is funny because I used to hate that shot.
I put it this way. There are some times where like someone speeds up the ball. I'm like, they're speeding that up, but then it's going back even faster, coming off your paddle. I'm like, what just happened? This is crazy.
I'll take it. Yeah. I'll take the compliment.
Yeah. Let's see here. I also think your like drops are very solid. Like I feel like you play like the transition zone very well. Like your resets are solid. I never feel like we're really struggling that often to get to the kitchen unless we're playing against people who just like have insanely good fourths. They're tall.
Freaking tall people.
Yeah. No, you're very good at the transition. Okay. There are more strengths. Like I feel like you move around the kitchen line really well. I feel like you apply pressure really, really well. When I think about weaknesses for you, I think sometimes you're like timid. And we've talked about it, and it's a bit of a function of me also being an aggressive player. So you're not as certain on certain shots, but it's also pressure in the game that can like, you know, really tighten down your shots. I think that has been a very consistent theme for us, or for you. Totally agree. I think footwork, just like your timing on split steps, can really bite you.
Oh yeah.
And I think by like days that you're on your split steps, your footwork is really firing. Like I have never seen someone like dominate the court as much as you would on those days. So like there's so much potential there. It's just a matter of like cleaning that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, otherwise like your game's well-rounded. Like it's interesting because we play plenty of singles, and I'm like, you're the worst type of player for me to play against. You're very consistent. Singles? Yeah, you're very consistent. You hit back like a pretty quality ball. It's not like you're hitting me off the court, but you're placing it. You're putting good spin back on, and I'm just like, I might be ripping the ball, but it just comes back the exact same way. Sure. Like, I hate this. I hate everything about this.
I'll just start hitting more winners. And see if you enjoy that more.
You're not hitting winners on me. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, all around. I mean, the weaknesses are getting shored up, and like, yeah.
I'll take it. I won't complain about that. I had, you know what? Since I only got like 2 strengths, I'm gonna have to eliminate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna have to eliminate. There's a lot of strengths in this. I'm just kidding. I definitely had more strengths for you than I had weaknesses. And one of the weaknesses I think is gonna make you laugh. But okay, strengths. very good drives. I think your forehand drive is like, especially in mixed, I think is like a very huge asset. It's especially against the guy if they are a righty. The amount of times you burn him because he's trying to cover so much middle. I mean, we get points every single match from that, especially early if they don't know you. Once they pick up, maybe they're a little more ready, but you burn people with that a lot. Movement, extremely good. Honestly, I mean, taking aside pros and like probably, qualifier people, for the level you are, I don't think I know any women that move even like close. Actually, that's not entirely true. Cherry is also an extremely good mover. But like, seriously, honestly, forget even gender, just movement at the level, period. Like even including men. Like seriously, your movement is like elite. I think it's really good. Mental strength, I think, is also really good. Like early on, I picked up, like I remember us having conversation after Vegas, I think it was, when I was just talking about like being timid on certain balls. And I was picking your brain about like, okay, I've seen this happen to you before. You'll miss like 2 forehand shoulder high ball putaways like in the net. And then the third one, you're still taking the same crack at it. Whereas I think a lot of people would be like, oh, I missed the last 2. Maybe I'll soften this up. And you're like, I don't care. So I think your ability to not be worried about that is crazy. Like I don't know many people who can keep doing that. So I think that's good. And then last one, this is more of just like less of a skill on the court, but I would say skill as a person, is I think you're very good at focusing on the positives of your partner and the way you deliver the negatives. Like you focus more on the positives, and then it's not that you ignore the negatives, but the way you deliver it, I think, is also very good. Like I've definitely had times where we've walked away from either a tournament or a rec session, and I'm like, I couldn't have played worse. And then we'll be, kind of debriefing about it, and you're like, oh, dude, you were really good at this. And I'm like, really? We're going to give me a compliment right now after that? I'm like, that's crazy because I just played terrible. So I think you're very good at like separating the things. And you're like, this actually mattered more than the thing you thought you did poorly. Now, weaknesses. I only have 2. The second one I was even iffy on. Can you guess what my first one is? It should be really obvious.
Oh, man. Now it's going to seem like I don't think I have weaknesses because I can't think of it.
When I say it, you're going to go, oh, come on.
I don't know. Okay, lay it down.
What was your biggest weakness in Vegas?
My forehand return.
Bingo!
Come on. That's low-hanging fruit.
Hey.
But it's real.
It's a weakness. It's a weakness. It's been going for a little bit. And look, it doesn't bother me. But it's a weakness.
Now everyone knows. Come on.
But you know what? We'll have it fixed by the next tournament.
What's funny is that you edited out of every single one of the Chasing 5 episodes, but I kid you not, I missed. And I don't think the Vegas one hasn't quite dropped yet, but I missed like 13 or something returns in that first match. Somehow still won it, but like that's 13 free points to our opponent. That's a full game in change.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but yeah. Returns was the first one, and it's funny because I don't actually think you're bad at returns, and I don't even really ever worry about your returns, but the forehand one just comes out, even in rec. Like you'll miss one. Like the last session we played, you're like, I'm not missing one tonight. Like I think the very first return, straight in the net.
Into the net.
It's just like,
for sure.
So there's that. Second one, I put a question mark on this because I was really trying to think. Like I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm just going to gas you up or something. So I was really trying to think of another weakness. And the only other one I thought was drops. And it's not even that I think you're bad at drops, but especially under pressure, I think we've had a couple tournaments where the drop might be the more optimal shot against the team we're playing, but if you're feeling tight, your default is like, I'm just going to drive the ball. So like under pressure, I think drops are maybe tougher for you, but I also, again, when we're playing, I don't go, oh man, should I like go in if she hits a drop? Like I'm not afraid of it, but I think I've just seen you be more worried about your dropping. You're not like, oh yeah, I'm going to hit this corner like fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's also like a philosophical like edge to that where it's like, if you're not feeling like your drops are super on, it makes sense to adjust to a shot that like, you have, it just is a lot easier to play, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I do agree. Like there are moments where like, man, that drop was so bad. I can't believe I hit that. That came off my paddle. That's crazy.
See, but it's funny because I don't even, I mean, I'm sure we've all hit bad drops, right? Like, we're
sure.
not a machine, but I don't even know that I see it that often. It's just that I see you avoid it more than your drive.
Yeah,
Obviously,
actually,
your drive is more of a strength, but
for sure. I mean, I've been, obviously we all work on our game, but that is one shot that I've been working on, particularly the forehand drop. And there's some technique that I've been like seeing around that I'm like, okay, I should try that. And it's really helped a lot. In fact, actually, Zach, his technique, I'm like, I like that. That looks like really consistent, really easy to execute. And so like, I've been kind of adopting that and I've found a lot more success. So
yeah.
Take that off. Take it off. Take it off.
Hey, there was a question mark on it. It wasn't a clear. Seriously, I was almost frustrated looking at this because, like, come on, you can't think of one other weakness. I did think of one that I think used to be a weakness, but I feel like it got cleaned up out of nowhere when we very first started playing mixed, and it's probably because you played a lot more left at the time. Even then, we kind of played mixed straight more. Mm-hmm. But your forehand dink, there were definitely times where I was like, I've gotten beat up by this ball a couple times now, and then randomly it just became like one of your best shots.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you sit in the lab for a while, things get better,
I guess that's not how it works for everyone.
Yeah.
Including myself.
I do have one weakness for myself that I know that is a bad issue for me is that like I will go for too much and on shots on balls that like that doesn't really make sense to go for.
Okay. I could see that, I guess.
Yeah. I limit test a lot. That's what I'm going to say. I limit test.
Hey, but that's how you learn.
Exactly.
So that's just another strength. You limit test.
Yeah. I should add another strength for you, though. And it's like your mental is very strong and like your emotional maturity is really good. So like it's like I never feel like at any point that we've had like tension or just like there's things like unspoken that we're not able to like, obviously address. So it makes playing loose like a lot easier. Like I've had some partnerships in the past where it's like, okay, it's a little bit harder to like focus strictly on the game. And that comes with like playing with other people. It comes in with like human relationships. That's just a thing. But yeah, I think with us like on the court, it's a lot easier for me to just play loose. Like I'm not really worrying about that. Like are we gonna like fight after this? Like do we have to like talk about something after this? It's like, no, that's never really been the case. So
which is interesting because I don't know if I ever would have listed it as a skill for myself. I think maybe now that I've been playing with you and Sergey more, maybe I would recognize it as a strength. But I think that strength only came out of my hatred or how much I despise when a teammate is like really mad at me and how much it makes me shut down. That I'm like, I'll just never be that. So it's funny how that skill developed because it came from I don't want a partner that does this. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to try and be as far away from that as I possibly can.
Emotional maturity. That's what that is. Okay.
I'll take it.
It's good.
I'll take it. I'm not gonna complain. Mm-hmm. Here's a question. I'm sure some people who have watched the Chasing 5-0 episodes will be curious about this. I think I didn't even send this one to you because I came up with it later. But why? As recently we've been talking about me playing more court than I have been. Like I wouldn't say it's like quite 50-50, but we've probably been a lot. Like 60-40 at probably absolute most. Mm-hmm. Maybe occasionally if you're having an off day, I'll come and take more just because you try and help your partner out when they're not playing well. But with how good you are, and we've even had times where you've been able to play the left and it's been fine. Like our first tournament, I wasn't playing that awesome. So I was just like, hey, let's put you on the left. And the next like 5 points, you popped off. So with as good as you are, why has the conversation recently been, Chris, you should take more court? Because I think there'd be a lot of people who are like, dude, I'm good at, like, we don't take more. We can play this 50-50. Like, do you see how good I am?
That's an interesting question. And I think part of my answer definitely relies kind of on some assumptions being made that are like kind of more universal to pickleball in that like the forehand, generally speaking, has a lot more options to play off of, particularly in offensive situations. Like I'm coming to the understanding now that it doesn't make a lot of sense for your left side player to come over in a situation where like you guys like the point might be neutral, but it's like kind of erring towards a defensive position. And especially on defense, it makes zero sense for someone to be like overextending themselves, right? But I think in offensive situations where like the ball is sitting in a position where I put it this way, if I was on the left side, I would be all over that ball.
Yeah.
That's what I'm expecting out of the person on my left. And so like in some ways it's even like sort of this like dynamic where like I'm telling you in my mind as the right side player, I hope you're taking this ball.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I think it's more that it's like, and in other ways, it's like it's also unlocking you to, you know, be less timid about taking some of the balls that we've had some issues on in the, you know, over the last few tournaments. There's also an aspect of that, you know,
that I do think is probably the biggest fix that I would say it's gotten better, but I think we'll get even better, is because I think I even maybe talked about this in the Chasing 5-0 episode that's coming up a little bit. But I think compared to other mixed partners I've had in the past where I just had to play more court if we wanted to end some of the points because they were more defense oriented. I think the first time I started playing with you, it was almost like a respect thing where it was like, oh, she's really good. Like, especially for mixed, it's like, I don't need to do that much, or it would almost be insulting for me to come and take this ball, because especially some of your 2-way counters or just out of the air like putaways, I'm like, this is a really good shot. So I think I trained myself early, just stay out of the way. Like, she doesn't need your help to do that. But I think what we're realizing now is there are balls you would rather me take with a forehand, but because I kind of trained myself to be like, Mia doesn't need your help, then we both kind of like watch it, and then we panic at the end, and then we both try and hit it, and then it's not a good result for anyone.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's an interesting point you bring up. Like, I feel very secure in the fact that you're not just taking the court because you think I'm bad.
Yeah.
And that is something that, like, we've talked about, right? Like, and that is something that comes up in other people's partnerships, because it's not, like, I get it. Like, some people actually do it because they think their partner is bad.
Yeah.
And like that sucks. That sucks to be in the position of the person who is obviously like on the receiving end of that. But in terms of us, like, yeah, it's a strategy that I want us to employ. Like, if there's a ball that's like right in front of me from the guy that's like up my line, but he hits it towards the middle, for me, I'd prefer not to hit a 2-way like dink that I might have to hit out wide or up the middle. Like, for me, my most comfortable 2-way dinks coming back across, which now I have very little space to do. That's not my comfort zone. And also, as the person, if I was playing right or left side, I would be sliding over because I'm thinking to myself, ooh, a ball I can like work on, you know, like I can do something with. So,
and I mean, watching you play left at Worlds when you played with Cherry, I mean, honestly, the way you guys were playing it, when you guys were like fully firing, I was like, dude, this is literally watching mixed in women's. And it wasn't because Cherry was bad. It was just like it just made more sense for you to take some of those balls. But like watching how you play that, I'm like, dude, I don't think I've played that aggressive in our mixed games before. Because again, it's like, wow, that's really like, does that even make sense for me to come take that ball? Like, maybe, but I don't know.
For sure. Well, I think the dynamic with Cherry and I was interesting because like she liked to play off the line a bit more too. So like it made sense, instead of forcing her to come back up and like try to take the ball, like I'll just crab walk real quick and just take this thing. So I mean, and that is something that maybe we should explore too, is like maybe I'm hugging the line too much at times, and that also makes it hard for you to like play bigger. I
do think that's actually a good point, because I remember having a conversation with one of my old mixed partners where I specifically said, I just knew a lot of balls were going to go toward her. And I was like, hey, if you are just a step off the line, I will feel way more comfortable like coming over. But like right now I'm like really worried about running into you. And also it's like feels kind of like more baited if you're a little further back. Like I can just like pop in or even like Bert or something if it was like a higher ball, which I'm not so much worried about having to do that with us. But I do think that maybe if there was some of that space, I think I'm always so worried about like running into the person that like I just won't do it, because I'm like, they might get out of the last second, but I feel uncomfortable. Like I might still hit you. So that could be interesting to play around with. Yeah.
And, you know, granted, I don't think that is something that is a big issue with us.
Yeah.
In fact, if anything, it's like, I don't know. I don't, it's just not a problem for us. Yeah. So it's an interesting question. I think it's more of an understanding that like that's a winning strategy. Let's try to apply it.
Yeah.
Just try to apply it. Yeah.
Totally. No, I mean, I completely agree. And I think as my confidence builds from it, I think it'll just be, again, I think one of our biggest problems has been when I've been more timid, which actually we're about to talk about in just a second here. So it'll be, I think even the rec games we've practiced since then, I'm just like, oh, I just feel like almost more energized, because I'm like, I don't feel like I'm just like stuck, or I don't know what to do, or what's mine, what's not mine. Mm-hmm. And so I think no matter who you're playing with, if you can make that more clear, that is a better strategy.
Yep.
If you guys are unclear, it's just confusing to know what to do.
100%. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do this next one. I'm curious to see what your answer is first. What's been the most frustrating tournament loss we've had?
Definitely this last tournament. We were up, it was Lakeland, right?
Yeah.
And we were up 14-12. And I missed my serve. And it was very close. And now, granted, I do think it was out. I think in the end it was out. But it was very close. And I was like, dang, I really just need to make them play. And so we go to your serve and the ball comes in front of me. And I'm like, oh, I'm just going to drive this really hard, like in front of me, because I haven't done that all game. So maybe it'll like provide something good for us. And I forget his, Jonah, I think. Yeah. And he handled it extremely well. And then he proceeds to handle the next few balls extremely well. Like very, he pulled himself out of a tough situation. And then they get the ball back. And suddenly now they're going on a run. And then there is a ball where it comes to my forehand and I haven't missed that forehand roll all day. And this time it careens off the edge of my paddle, giving them a free overhead to just put away. I was upset. I was a little upset about that. And
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. In that moment, I was like, hey, anyone, I need a mix. I'm just kidding. Totally kidding.
I was like, hey, guys, my partner needs a new mix partner. I can't play.
I can't even say anything because the way I ended that game for us, that was, I
actually forgot about that. I was just going to end it by saying like, and then we lost.
And now that's okay. I can make fun of myself too. I basically came over to hit a ball that we both got confused on. You were going to hit it. And I was like, no, mine. And then I basically lobbed the ball out. And I wasn't trying to hit a lob. I was trying to hit a dink. And it just went pew and like hit the back fence. It was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah. But I think that one was tough. I mean, we were sitting on like the bench for a minute and I just like literally had my head in my hands, just replaying the drive into like all of that. And I'm like, man, it could have gone so differently. But I wasn't like mad about it, I guess. It was just a little bit saddening that like, in the moment where I needed to play, I don't know, some smarter shots, I chose some not super smart shots. But
that's funny because I don't know what I thought your answer would be. I think that one's a pretty good one. But for me, I think probably not even close was Worlds Round 1.
Worlds Round 1.
Yeah, Round 1.
Yeah.
So for context, I mean, this will be small spoiler. So if you don't want spoiler for a Chasing 5-0 episode, now would be a great time to pause. I'm going to give you guys like...
It should have been a second ago, actually.
What? Well, that's true. It doesn't really matter, you know.
Okay, dude.
But anyways, Worlds Round 1, we play the team that ends up being the gold medalist team for this tournament. And in the first game, I believe I want to say we were up at one point, and we ended up losing 9-11, I think.
In the last game?
No, in the first one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we lose that one 9-11 when I felt like we probably should have won it. And I felt from the very beginning I wasn't playing well. And it became very clear to me that the other team was choosing to pick on me, which is, fine. I wasn't playing that well and I was being very timid on balls. Like balls that were definitely high enough to like attack someone. I was like, you probably shouldn't attack that. And then I just hit like another dead dink. It was a lot of just like very poor dinking all around. So I felt like, okay, we lost the game. We should have easily won that one. Second one, we end up winning. I can't remember if it was 12-10 or another 11-9 or 11-8. It was another close one. But we won that one. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good now. And then in the last one, I think they just started playing a lot better. And they really picked it up, and I think we lost 3-11. But that one I think was so frustrating to me. One, because I knew I was basically the reason we lost that match. And I also felt like we could have so easily won that in 2. And now in hindsight, knowing that they were the gold medalist team, I'm like, you're telling me we could have almost easily knocked out the gold medalist team like that? So we could have maybe won gold at this tournament. Obviously it doesn't work that way, but like, after that one, like I just kind of walked off because I was like, holy cow, I need a second just to like figure out what just happened. But it's like, I knew exactly why we were losing, but it's like, I couldn't fix it in the moment.
Sure.
It's just that was a tough one.
Yeah. I've talked about like, I feel the worst about a loss when I don't feel like I left everything that I could on the court.
Yes.
And that sounds like that's probably how you're feeling.
Yeah. I would say all the tournaments, like for example, I wasn't that upset about that one you just mentioned because I felt like I played pretty solid throughout that whole match. Yeah, there were times where I wasn't playing amazing, like particularly the very end there. But I was like, I did what I felt like I could do. That was probably as good as I was going to be that day, and it was a good match. 14, 16, it's like, okay, I can kind of, I'm disappointed I lost, but I can walk away knowing I tried. That match at Worlds. I was like, no. There was a different guy that could have showed up and he didn't show up.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's kind of how I felt about that one. But interesting for both of us there, especially because I felt like you played pretty well in Lakeland.
Yeah, I felt great all day. And frankly, I think that entire match, and that's why I'm not really like, I wasn't that mad. I mean, you were asking me, you're like, are you fine? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I just needed a second to just like that really happened.
Yeah, just chill out a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this kind of leads perfectly into the next one. But actually, this was yours, I think. How do we take a loss and, what did you say, metabolize it into progress as a team? Okay, I was just making sure I was reading that right. This is interesting. So I'm curious I feel like you've probably been the reason this got good pretty early on. So I'm curious what your take is on this.
Mm-hmm. I think we just spend a lot of time. We're doing okay.
Yeah, I'm good. No, you're good. We do this all the time when we're doing the pod. But yeah, I'm just looking at all the cameras to make sure they're still running.
Okay, so I feel like we do a good job to like not take losses personally. And I think that's like a big first step. It's like a lot more mentality about it. But it's also like we talk about what went wrong and what went well. Mm-hmm. Pretty like, what's the word? Like, we don't put a lot of weight on it. Like we're not saying like, oh, like, man, that was so bad. Like, I can't believe we did this all the time. And like, we could never get this going. It's like, no. Like, this pattern was really hard for us, or this pattern really worked for us, or this team was really good at this and we just couldn't really find a way to shut it down. We should work on that. So just finding ways to see it real, like see it in a very real way, like the game, and dissecting it in such a way where like, listen, losses are going to happen.
Yeah. It's
really about what you take away from it and reapply. But a lot of that comes first from trust and respect for each other.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think definitely we just have a good way of breaking down matches and taking having good takeaways from it.
And I think the thing that probably both of us do well, this kind of goes back to the strength I was talking about with you earlier. Like specifically one of the memories that probably comes back to me the most outside of some of the rec sessions is Vegas. Like I remember when we lost, I'm trying to even think the last match we lost. Oh, yeah. Like I felt like we lost to a team that like normally if we played them, I'm not going to say we would just beat them all the time, but it was a great example of, I felt like it just didn't show up. Like I just was like, well, where's Chris the whole time, And so that one didn't feel good. And again, kind of went off on my own, just like think for a little while. I was like, I just needed to be away from people and kind of like process in my own head. And then I was like, hey, like we should just talk about how this went. I think that was actually probably the first time where we really had to do that. And I was very curious to see how this was going to go. Because in my head, I was like, dude, you played in even matches we won. I was like, dude, you did not play that well. I felt like this was a big weakness. Like I was just very in my head about certain things. And when we actually started talking about it, it was very interesting to see the things that you were like, again, you focused more on positive than you did on negative. Like, yeah, okay, you were tight here. Maybe you didn't do this that well, but you were like, you actually did this really well, which made me be able to do this. And I was going into that conversation thinking, probably what most people think, which is, oh man, my partner is about to let me have it and let me know how bad I played today. Like I was definitely ready after that one for you to be like, dude, I don't know if we should play any more tournaments together.
Really?
Yeah, I was very in my head after that one.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Like I think one thing I didn't add to it is the fact that you and I both, we kind of are aligned on the goal of like, we just want to get better.
Yeah.
The wins are obviously great because there's kind of this whole thing on the line about it. But at the end of the day, it's like, we just want to get better.
Yeah.
And so, if you're kind of aligned on the right things, it's easier to have conversations.
I also think because I think about with some people, like giving or receiving feedback can be a very difficult thing. Like some people obviously just respond to it better than others. Like when I was younger, I did not respond to any constructive criticism well. Like I always took it personally and it felt like people were attacking me. So I think there's that. But I feel like the thing that's been good between us is that it's very clear that if someone says, hey, this was a problem, or hey, we should probably work on this, it's never like it's not a personal thing. It's just like, this is probably the best way for us to get better moving forward. And I feel like we both understand that it's not an attack. You know what I mean? It's just like, hey, this is what I saw. And like,
sure.
I don't know if we've really ever had a time where we were kind of breaking something down and we like disagreed heavily on it.
Right.
I don't even know if we've really disagreed on any of what the problem was.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because disagreement usually like you're going to feel there's heavy pushback from one side. But I do think like we've collaborated a lot in that we might not have disagreed, but we've definitely steered each other in specific directions through like leading, like asking questions about like, what did you want out of this? What did you want out of that? And it's like, we didn't disagree because the other person was willing to try what the other person was saying. And then, like I said, there's a lot of respect and trust that goes into something like that. So I guess from my side, like I definitely appreciate it as someone who's had partners who like even just broaching the subject of anything about the partnership strategy or otherwise, it's just impossible.
Yeah, you just can't do it. There's the person's just like, no.
Right. So having, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Just having the open line of communication is like, it's very critical to actually finding success in taking stuff away from games.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And maybe it's just like a personality thing. Like maybe that just lined up particularly well because I feel like I've definitely, like when I played with my other brother, Patrick, I wouldn't say there was ever anything bad, but I'm thinking about our communication. There was definitely not communication after we lost. Like, here's why we lost. What could we have done better? In fact, half the time, if we did think about that, we probably disagreed. I remember definitely some tournaments where I was like, hey, this is the strategy. This is how we win this. And he's like, no, absolutely not. That's not how we win it. And usually, if I'm being honest, we lost because I was too stubborn to change my mind on that. So he was probably right about those. Mm-hmm. But I just think we do a really good job of kind of figuring that out. And then it's not an issue the next time.
For sure.
Which is really good.
Yeah. And that's interesting because as long as you align on the same thing, in some ways that can even get you further.
Yeah.
Than like if you guys are just butting heads on what you actually want to do, whether it's the right thing or wrong thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I'm going to stop fiddling with this ladder. It's just stopped moving for whatever reason. Aizec operates this thing normally. So now that I have to run everything, I don't know what I'm doing without Aizec.
He's panicking.
I'm panicking. Yeah. So no, I think that's really good. I think that's why we've made probably a lot of progress, which has been great. This, I guess, kind of like feeds off that. But what do you think goes into either it could be about us or maybe it's just like a general thing for people? Actually, let's even go that way. Maybe like what makes a good, effective team? Like some of the things that I wrote down that I think applies to us, but can go over for anyone is good communication on and off the court, being able to be honest about feedback. And again, I think there's better and worse ways to give that, right? You could go to someone and say, hey, your drops really sucked. Or you could be like, yeah, I mean, your drops were a little off, but it was probably because of this, right? Which actually I think you might have even pointed out in Vegas. I was like, man, my drops are so bad. And you might have pointed out like, yeah, dude, the guy's return was just really good. Not blowing your lid at your partner. I think no one appreciates that. So I don't know why we do it. Like how many times have we been in a tournament and seen someone like yelling at their partner or that you can tell they're feuding? You're never going to play better if you do that.
Yeah.
Your partner won't, you won't. It's never going to work.
Everyone's just in their head then,
Exactly.
Everyone's just in their head.
And then the last one I wrote was just like tournament debriefs, which is kind of what we were just talking about. I think that is for me, why that's so useful, what I've realized is if that doesn't happen, then I will just sit and wonder what my partner's thinking. And I'll probably go to the worst case thought that they could be thinking instead of they might not even be thinking about that at all. So it almost puts my mind at ease when I just know like, okay, here's what you were thinking. Mm-hmm. And if it was the worst case scenario, I'm like, okay, cool. I was right. Now I got to do it better next time.
Yeah. Yeah. But at least you know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know if I have a lot to add onto what you said because I agree like with all those points. I think that the respect and trust is obviously something that I brought up a lot, and I think that is an important thing to have. Like I played with Stephanie in Lakeland, and she has this mantra now where she's saying to me, she's like, I believe in you. And like I believe in us as a partnership. Like let's get this.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
Yeah.
Like that shows respect, that shows trust. And it's like doing that outwardly. Like it's not just something that you have to say, it's something that you do as well. And I think that is definitely like across the board with particularly the people that I've been playing with lately. Like that's there, right? So I think that creates a really good dynamic for a team to like go onto the court, even before you get on the court, to feel very confident, right?
Yeah.
I think that would be really all that I'd add to what you said, because I think I think what makes a team effective is so much more what happens off the court in preparation than it is necessarily what happens on the court on a tournament day.
Yeah.
Because if you practice all the wrong things, you're going to show up on tournament day doing the wrong things, right? So, yeah.
I actually just had a conversation with Sergey after this last tournament. I was telling him I noticed we were practicing some stuff in rec, having him play more aggressive from the left and stacking, kind of like where we're talking about for mixed, just having more assigned roles. So we're like, let's start with you on the left, see how it goes. And I thought he was knocking it out of the park. Like, he was playing very big on the left. He was doing really well. And he would apologize like over and over for if he missed something. And I was telling him after the tournament, I was like, first of all, in a tournament, you don't need to apologize to me because I know you didn't try and miss that ball. I know you're probably going to make the next one. So I don't really need the apology. Like, you can say it if you want. I do the same thing. You know, I'll be like, my bad. And I probably say it more than I need to. So I understand why we say it, right? Like, you kind of want your partner to know, like, hey, that wasn't on purpose. Because some people will just be like, dude, I can't believe you can't make a drop. But so I told him, I was like, look, especially in rec where we're trying new things, never apologize to me. Like, as long as you are learning from it and you're doing your own calculation of what needs to be better, I don't care. I don't care if you miss every single ball, but as long as you're learning next time what not to do, go for it.
For sure.
But don't feel like you have to feel bad because you missed a ball.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that is good for anyone to just constantly feel like, I can't believe I missed that ball, you know?
Yeah. I think the times that I feel like I say sorry now, like, I try not to do it when I miss a ball, but I think one thing is, like, if we literally talked about a strategy and I like go off course, I'm like, okay, listen, I'm sorry. Like, we just talked about this. But apart from that, I totally agree with you. It's like, you got each other's backs. It's fine.
Yeah, it's totally fine. Like, I actually think one of the things you said to me, I don't even remember what tournament it was. Maybe it was Lakeland. We were talking about on the Chasing 5-0 episode. It was just, we were talking about, you know, swinging on all those balls, even if you've missed a couple. And you were kind of saying, you would be more upset for me to not go for it, even if I've missed the last few. But you were like, if I saw you going for it, that's fine. Like, you did what you were supposed to do. You just missed. But it's like, it's more frustrating if you saw taking the gas off and doing something that's teaching a bad habit later.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was interesting because in my head, when you're making a lot of mistakes in a row, it's frustrating to watch your partner struggle. But it almost gave me the freedom to feel like, okay, I can go for it. And as long as I went for it, if I missed, she doesn't care.
Yeah. And, you know, that's an interesting point you bring up, is like uplifting your partner and understanding how to uplift them.
Yeah.
Is really important too.
Yeah.
I you know, as human beings, we have the propensity to overthink things.
Yeah.
A lot. So, you know, in any way that we can help each other, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So
to me, it's funny with, I think, this is an interesting take. I was going to say, I almost feel like having a good dynamic as a partnership and just like people would be more important than the skills. Obviously, you need to have some level of skills, right? You can't pair a 5-0 with a 3-0. But I do think that if it's like almost harder in some ways to build like good rapport with the partner. And I think if they feel really comfortable, that will lead to much better results down the road. Versus if you're always worried about your partner blowing a lid and yelling at you on the court and like berating you, that'd be a horrible world to live in.
That would be terrible. That's my worst nightmare, frankly. That would make me quit pickleball.
Yeah, probably same, if I'm being honest. I would have a zero... If that happened to me with a partner, I would not partner with them again. That's a hard no for me.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, on that note, and maybe even just finish my thoughts on like what makes a team like really good, it's being able to feel like you can say the hard stuff to your partner. Like, and get through the hard situations without someone blowing their lid, or just, you know, there being respect and trust. So for sure.
Nope, I completely agree with that. I think that's good. That's why I actually thought it was going to be funny to do this strength and weaknesses thing, because I was like, what's she going to say for the weakness? Is she going to water it down, or is she actually going to say something? I was very curious to see where you went with it. I was very curious.
Were the weaknesses what you would have expected?
Okay, so let me think back to what they were. It was timid, the split step, and what was another one? Was that it?
I think that's... I think that's it.
I would have, I probably could have guessed. Definitely the timid, I would have guessed that one, just because we've been like very actively working on that recently. And then the footwork as well, just because like even when I watch clips of myself now, the difference, I'm like, wow, it's night and day if you actually just move your goddamn feet.
Yeah.
So No, I definitely would have agreed with that. I probably could have named a couple more too.
Oh, we all can say that about our games.
Yes. Okay. Let's see what else we've got on here because we're at a 2-hour pod. This is longer than ones with Aizec. God dang. Okay.
We're yappers.
Have fun, California. Yeah, we are. We learned this with the Lakeland one. Okay, we'll do these.
Okay.
This will be more of a question for you, I guess. What have your past partnership dynamics been like, and how do you usually recognize when a pairing isn't serving you anymore? And I say this is mostly you because pretty much all my partners have gone one of two ways. Actually, almost every single time is that they stopped playing with me, but not because like, oh, you weren't good enough. It's usually they just stopped playing tournaments. Like I played with Patrick. He was like the only men's partner I had. He kind of just stopped playing tournaments, or I was traveling, so it made sense to play with other people. Both my mixed partners I had in the past, they just stopped playing tournaments. So it was kind of like, oh, I just got to hunt for a new one. But like my pool of partners is like very small. I've had some one-offs, but like consistent partners been very small.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because I'm the one who added this question, but I'm kind of in a similar boat as you.
Oh, sure.
I thought, maybe you had some interesting stories to go off of on your side. But no, I'm very much the same. Like I haven't had this deep pool of partners. And frankly, I think I'm very selective in my partnerships.
Same.
And frankly, I probably need to be more forthcoming with people about that. I think that is probably one area that like, that's a weakness for me. I'm probably not upfront enough, but like I'm very much a vibes person, like a vibe. Like if we're not gelling and I can feel that we're not gelling, it's going to be very hard for me to like want to push myself to partner with somebody. Yeah. And like, it's always someone might ask me and initially I'm just like, oh, that would be really interesting. But then like, as I think about it more, I'm like, oh, but wait, I had this interaction with them and this interaction with them. And, and like, I'm a very timid person in general. So, and I think that's what it is maybe the question of like, when is a partnership, when do you know when to get out? And I think it's just like when you feel in some way that you are not allowed to like grow in that partnership, and there can be multiple reasons why. But I think that's really like my big like measurement. Now, can I grow?
Here's the real question then, because I guess in mine, like the partnerships have all just kind of like faded naturally because people weren't playing anymore. I haven't had to like dump someone. I don't even know how I would do that. And this is why I've told you this. I think I've even told Sergey this. Like, look, if there's ever a point, and I think you're probably similar to me, just personality wise on this, like if you don't want to play anymore, just tell me. Like, I don't want to play the game of like, you feel bad. Like, oh, I don't want to say no, but like, I really don't want to play. Like, I'd rather just know. Mm-hmm. And like, whatever the reason is, like, I'll accept that as the reason. I'm not going to get offended by it. Like, I might feel like sad in a sense that's like, oh, well, this, like, I thought this was great, but whatever, I'd rather the person not feel trapped. So that's fine. How would you approach going about it? Because I don't even know how I would have that conversation. It'd probably depend on what happened, but I really don't know how I'd have that conversation. Yeah,
I think what I would do is I would draft up a message and then I would push it through ChatGPT and ask it to make sure that I'm not, saying anything I probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
No, I think it's one of those things where you probably just have to rip the Band-Aid off, which I'm kind of bad at. But it's like if you want to move forward, like ultimately that's what you have to do. And you just got to be respectful about it.
What would be the like reasons you would, I mean, I feel like there's so many things, right? Like maybe there was one time where someone just like blew their lid and it was just like, whoa, I like never want to be around that again. But if that doesn't normally, like, what do you think would be the like maybe two biggest reasons you would stop? Like how much would someone not improving be the reason you would stop playing with them? Like how big would the gap have to like start being where you're like, I just like don't feel like this makes sense anymore?
That's interesting. And I mean, I guess like what I had said earlier, like I don't feel like I'm growing anymore. The gap in skill is all relative. If anything, in some ways, like I don't really care. I don't really care about the gap. Like if I feel like you are bringing to the table like skills or like a good energy, like there's a skill to being a good partner.
I agree.
Right? And like, so if you're even half a point down, like I'm super down to play with you.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the vibe is like a higher priority to you than the skill.
It's like 90% vibe for me.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I'd say pretty similar. Just because like I don't want someone who's as good as me or better, and then I just have to deal with feeling like it's a ticking time bomb on the court the entire time.
Yeah. Like when I play with Cherry, I was pretty anxious about it, but like you really vouched for her. And frankly, like she is a very good person and very like fun to be around.
Yeah.
And just through like the texts that I had, like the interactions that I had with her, it gave me a lot more confidence. But I was like, oh, this could be really bad, because when I'm with someone who's like gives off like negative energy, I tend to feed off that. So like my mood goes down, and then like it's just really hard to get out of that. And I'm not even focusing on playing the game. I'll play worse, and then like it's a spiraling. It's a thing. It just spirals.
Yeah.
So in some ways, I'm even like it's even self-preservation. Maybe it's like I don't want to put myself in that situation. I know that's a bad situation for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's vibes.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's
yeah.
vibes.
So, but that's like an interesting thing then, because I can't imagine that vibes would be like, man, I don't know. I'm trying to think how I would phrase that. Like, because if you already knew the vibe was good, and let's just say that like stayed consistent, like let's say the person almost got to a point where they were not willing to learn new things or maybe try new things for the partnership. Like they're just like, you know what? I just like how we play. I don't really feel like changing it, but the vibe was still good. Or you're like, oh yeah, let's just keep sending it. Cause like, obviously now, the person is kind of admitting to like, I don't really care to get better anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's interesting. I really value like growth mindset, and I would add that to the package of vibe.
Sure.
So I think if someone, truly doesn't have like a growth mentality, I probably wouldn't want to necessarily partner with them for like a tournament, for example. I think that would be harder for me.
Because I definitely think that like with both you and Sergey is one of the things that I wouldn't be the highest thing that I value, but I definitely love how open you guys are to improving. And at the end of the day, look, winning is not everything for me in these tournaments, but I like to win, and I like to know that I feel like we're making progress. And if suddenly people were just like, I just don't care anymore, like I don't want to get better, it definitely wouldn't kill it immediately. But if I got to a point where the gap just kept getting bigger and bigger, and I felt like I was going to keep going down that path, it would probably get harder and harder for me to want to stay. But it wouldn't be like an immediate hard cut if someone just said, hey, you know what, like I'm just going to chill where I am.
Yeah. That's a good nuance. It's like, what does that really mean? Like if someone is like, I don't want to play up, I don't want to play 5-0. It's like, well, I want to play 5-0.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well now we have a clear, like, this is where we're no longer serving each other. Right. Yeah. So I think it's like, you give me very specific situations, I probably could give you a better answer.
Yeah, that's fair. I suppose just like many of these hot takes, it was all like, well, it depends on context here.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let's see what. Okay, this I guess we could probably, there might be like, I might have one more after this, but this could potentially be the last one here. What rhythm or identity, I think this is your question actually. Yeah, what rhythm or identity do we have as a partnership, and how does a team build toward it intentionally? Since this is your question, I'll let you answer this.
Okay, yeah. Well, I like to describe like how we are in court, and just in general, like we don't really take ourselves seriously, but we take the game seriously.
Yeah.
Like that's how we gel. That's just kind of maybe even who we are as people.
Dude, halftime we're warming up, we're just like hitting tweener speed.
Like if anyone watched our warm up, they're like, are they even playing in the tournament?
Yeah, like they're like, why are they here?
It's the silliest thing. Yeah. So I think for us, our identity as a team is definitely like, we know when to turn up our intensity. I don't know. I think our personalities just like are pretty similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
We're just kind of silly people, I guess.
Yeah.
And so it just works out like that. But I do think we've like fostered a sort of like understanding through communicating.
Yeah.
Just like not being shy about asking, I don't know, like, what do you want out of me in this, in a situation like this on the court? How about in this particular situation? So yeah, I think the communication maybe is the first step towards aligning yourself with your partner. Like,
the transparency definitely helps.
Yeah, transparency helps a lot. Yeah, and that's really what it boils down to, is if your personalities don't gel well, then like it's pretty flawed from the beginning. in some ways. But if you have great communication, if like that part of your personalities gel well, then actually that can probably be overcome. Like that partnership survey that we did was a great way to like start off the whole thing, right? Like we got a deep dive into some aspects of our personalities, and like I'm pretty sure we sugarcoated some things, but it's like
we should go back and read them.
I would probably be laughing about some of the things I wrote.
I'd be very curious to see now.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, bonding exercises is like it's corporate America does it for good reason. It actually helps, you know, pull teams together. So it's like, you know, as the more you spend time understanding each other, and like, yeah, being able to read each other, it makes like aligning yourselves a lot easier. Just like, I
also think one of the things that's probably helped is if you're just good friends outside of pickleball, that's great. I think that I mean, we play a lot of League of Legends. Like you, your husband, me, my brother, sometimes we have a fifth. Like, I think that dynamic of just like, oh, hey, we do something outside of pickleball, or like, you know, me and Sarah had you and Wesley over one time. Like, it just, things like that I think also help contribute. Like, if you just like being around the person outside of pickleball, I feel like that's often going to translate pretty well onto the pickleball court. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, that often doesn't work for spouses for whatever reason. I mean, you see it all the time in pickleball. But outside of that, like, I feel like if you just enjoy being around them as like friends, I feel like the pickleball dynamic will work pretty okay on the court.
And, you know, that's a really good point. Like, all the best partnerships I've had have developed into like friendships that like I really appreciate and cherish in my life, right?
Yeah. Like,
I play with Rosa all the time. And like, I just like spending time with her. We were literally at the Mall of America, just hanging out. It's like the Mankato tournament got canceled. We were just like, still want to hang out? Like, yeah. So yeah, 100%. I think becoming good friends is very good indicator of like being on the same page for sure. Yeah, you know, in the end, I think this question is maybe a bit of a dud because the answer almost feels obvious. Like, just get to know the person.
But what's funny is we say it's obvious, but how many partnerships do we see that are just abysmal? Like, you can tell, like, these people should never be playing together.
Yeah.
So I wonder if, like, people just don't think about it that often.
Yeah. And you know what? If you're bad at, like, breaking the ice, like, there are so many ways to do it. Like, there are questionnaires online that, like, yeah, we did our own questionnaire through Stephanie's stuff, and that was very pickleball related. If you're the kind of person who, like, you find it very hard to get past the pickleball side of things, find a questionnaire that's specifically relationship related for like friendships. Like, there's so many resources out there that can guide you into like just being a more open person and like learning each other's lives and like.
Now, what's funny about that is there are definitely people who like hate the idea of that too. Like, I've definitely seen either people comment online or I've just known people who are like, that would actually like freak me out more if I had to fill out a thing about like my life. Like, that almost. So obviously there's different things for different people, but it's very interesting to me because to me it solves so many problems. Even if you just do a pickleball one. Like, do you have a temper on the court? They say yes, and you're like, I hate that. Okay, we're out.
You know what? Okay, part of it. So you brought up like we play League of Legends a lot. That's a competitive style game.
Yeah.
Invite your pickleball partner for a board game night. You know, like
see if they blow their lid.
Hey, you know, you put them in other competitive situations that are outside of pickleball. You know, a little stress test.
It's like business when people take them golfing. So it's like the same thing. Do they cheat? Do they lose their, you know, whatever? Like, League of Legends is also a good one because that'll tilt the crap. If you, dude, some people, I mean, play with some people I don't want to play League of Legends with anymore. We'll put it that way.
I mean, the games we've been through, us not tilting, it's pretty impressive.
You're pretty much never going to tilt on a pickleball court based on some of the League of Legends games we've played.
Yeah. But
so, yeah, I don't know. I think that kind of covers everything for me. Let's see. We're 205. That's setting a record for a pod recently. Even with Aizec, we've been setting some long pods recently. But yeah, I don't know. I guess, is there anything else? Like, I was trying to think of like things that were, I feel like we just kind of covered a lot of the partnership dynamic, which honestly I think is something a lot of people should really think about more than the skill. I guess we didn't really cover almost like some of the on-court strategy stuff other than the guys should be more aggressive, at least in our partnership.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess if you have anything else, go for it. But
Well, I would put it this way. I think that there are plenty of really good resources online that talk all about the strategy of the game. There's not as much that really give you insight between like dynamics of people. Even like on the professional tour, like you just see kind of how they interact on the court. You don't really understand how they got to that point to be able to interact that well. Like what's happening in the games off the court, you know what I mean? So having insight in the relationship aspect of pickleball partnerships is very valuable, because it's you can translate it to every other, like, I don't know, any other time that you're playing pickleball that you're on a court with someone else, literally, right? But no one talks about it.
yeah,
No one talks
it's
about
true. No one does talk about it. I don't know. I'm almost surprised it doesn't, like, how little it's been talked about. It's kind of fascinating to me because, again, with both you and Sergey, I feel like this year I was like, I don't know if I learned more about myself as a person, but it was very clear to me for tournaments, I now have a very specific preference, where in the past I may not have known that as much. But now, like, if I wasn't playing with you guys, I'd have a pretty specific criteria of things you better check if we're going to play. And, like, skill's not necessarily the highest one. So
Let's just say your pickleball survey got a little bit longer.
yeah. Do you play League of Legends? What role do you play? What champ?
Are you okay with Timo Top?
You better be. Cool. Well, I have the word of the week this week. What do you think it is, if you had to guess? It was something mentioned early in the pod.
Oh wow. I mean, I was just thinking it's like hot take, but
That would have been a good one, but we're gonna go with hat.
hat.
We're gonna go with hat. We should have
Okay.
I should have said Chris's hat, but we'll just say hat this week.
Hat's a good one.
So,
Okay.
Cool.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for being on the pod. This would have been really, really boring to do hot takes on your own.
I mean, with how agreeable you are, yeah, for sure.
I will say, I'm disappointed we didn't disagree more. Feel like we could, if we would have just to rile things up a little bit more.
All I could think was that Aizec was the perfect person for this. So shame on him for having to get his wisdom teeth taken out.
Really, what that means is I probably
Yeah.
should have just waited. We could have just made the mix thing its own episode, but
Oh, that's good.
all right. Well, anyways, thanks for listening, guys. If you made it all the way to the end of this pod, you're wild. So have a good week, guys. We'll see you next week.